You imagined, we delivered gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Rich Paul, the agent for LeBron James, says James does not want to be traded and will stay with the Lakers for the rest of the season. ESPN's Brian Windhorst says James will probably stay put next season, too.
I'd be very surprised if he doesn't pick up that player option because it's for $51 million. And yeah, he's made a lot of money, but $51 million is a lot. And even if he is a player that is highly desired, there's not exactly a lot of teams out there that have $51 million that they can pay him.
Brian Windhorst on Carlin versus Joe. Our Adrian Wojnarowski reports Lakers forward Jared Vanderbilt will miss at least several weeks with a right foot injury. Our Adam Schefter reports the Saints will name Klint Kubiak their new offensive coordinator. Kubiak worked with the 49ers this season and will stay with the team for the Super Bowl. Carl Weathers, briefly an NFL linebacker and later actor from the Rocky movies, Happy Gilmore and The Mandalorian, has died this week at age 76.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Canty. Coming up Monday, I'll tell you the one player not named Patrick Mahomes whose legacy will be most impacted by winning the Super Bowl. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Boy, do we have a ton to do today. But let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Well, we've got white smoke on Airline Drive. That's a Catholic Pope reference for those that didn't get it on Twitter. Whenever they choose a new pope, white smoke goes up at the Vatican, whatever. Anyway, the Saints have a new offensive coordinator, Adam Schefter, a bit ago. And by the way, it's not official until the Saints make it official, which apparently can't happen until after the Super Bowl. But this is about as close to official as it can be, right, when Schefter's tweeting it out there. Saints are working to hire 49ers passing game specialist Klint Kubiak as their new offensive coordinator, per sources. Kubiak would join the Saints after he coaches his final game with the 49ers in the Super Bowl. No deal can be finalized until after the game. So there you have it. Looks like Klint Kubiak will be the guy as the Saints did their due diligence, interviewed about a dozen candidates, some of them multiple times, and they landed on the guy that I think makes the most sense. So let's talk about Kubiak, and then I'll kind of give you my big picture takeaway of what I think this means. So Klint Kubiak, son of Gary Kubiak, Super Bowl winning head coach with the Broncos, there back in the 2015 season with Peyton Manning, and formerly coach of the Texans as well. Klint Kubiak is only 36 years old. He's only 36, but he has coached what feels like a lifetime. For perspective, Klint Kubiak's first ever coaching job was as an offensive quality control coach at Texas A&M the year LSU and A&M played in the Cotton Bowl, 2010, before A&M even joined the SEC. That was his first job as a coach. So he has been around coaching really his whole life because of his dad, but he's been in it now already for parts of 2 decades. So he went from A&M into the NFL with the Vikings as an offensive quality control coach, went back to the college ranks for a season at Kansas in 2015, then back into the NFL when his dad was the head coach of the Broncos. So he was there in Denver 2016, 17, and 18, jumped to the Vikings where he was for 3 seasons, the last of which he replaced his dad, who retired, as offensive coordinator in Minnesota in 2021. And then each of the last 2 seasons, he's been 2 different places. He went back to the Broncos under Nathaniel Hackett, where he was the passing game coordinator, quarterbacks coach. That staff got fired, as we all know. And then this year went to the 49ers, where he is with the Niners as the passing game coordinator and will be playing in Super Bowl 58 a week from Sunday. So A&M, the Vikings, Kansas, the Broncos, back to the Vikings, back to the Broncos, Niners. That's 7 stops in his coaching career, and he's 36 years old. This is a guy who clearly understands coaching is a transient business and can be hard on families, etc. But at 36 years old now, Klint Kubiak is the offensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints. One of the things we've talked about with a lot of candidates is their experience as a play caller. And when you look at the long list of candidates that the Saints interviewed, there were a lot of guys who have been quarterbacks coach, passing game coordinators, but have not been offensive coordinators or primary play callers. That is something Kubiak has done. Back in the 2021 NFL season, Klint Kubiak was the offensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings with Kirk Cousins as the quarterback. And that year, they finished 12th in the NFL in total offense and 14th in scoring offense at 25 points per game. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that was some outstanding season and the standard by which you hope an offense would be judged. It certainly wasn't that, but at least he does have experience as a play caller, and you're not taking a chance with someone who's never done the job before. The other part of this that clearly you like is the proximity with the Shanahan coaching tree. Look, coached under his dad, and then obviously now in San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan. So he has that experience in the NFL, as we've seen so many of these young coordinators branch off from Shanahan, from McVay, and Kevin O'Connell, Mike McDaniel. You all know the list at this point. And the hope is that he's the next one of those guys. And he's had plenty of NFL experience in a variety of different roles, from coaching receivers to quarterbacks to passing game coordinator to calling plays. And now he's going to run the offense in New Orleans. For what it's worth, you can hear it in his own words. This was before the 2022 season. So again, when Kubiak went back to the Denver Broncos, this was on Nathaniel Hackett's staff. He was there with Denver as the passing game coordinator and quarterbacks coach for the 2022 season. And before that season started, they had like a media day. And this was Klint Kubiak talking about what his coaching philosophy is.
I would say that I like to stress the process over results. It's important to me to stress accountability and to always make practice stressful for the players, so that game day is easy. So those are 3 things I like to key on.
Stress practice, so game day is easy. Again, a long lineage, and was also in Denver when there as Peyton Manning was on his way out. I guess that was the year after the 2015 season. Whenever Denver won the Super Bowl, he was actually with Kansas that season, but followed there in 2016 there with his dad. Some other national perspective on Klint Kubiak. Here was Michael Lombardi contributing to The Athletic when the Niners hired Shanahan this past offseason, when San Francisco was hiring as the passing game coordinator and quarterbacks coach, on why Kyle Shanahan hired Klint Kubiak.
Kyle Shanahan has relied on known, trusted lieutenants throughout his career. That's simply how it works in NFL coaching circles. He likes the play design acumen that Klint Kubiak brings to the table. And I would say that Klint Kubiak was mentioned very frequently this past year by Kyle Shanahan as a guy that was valuable in the game planning room. So it obviously runs in the family. It's not easy to be an offensive coordinator or a play caller in this league. What's more important is how you vibe with the rest of the room, coaching-wise, how you co-work with these guys. And he knows the Kubiaks. He's worked for the Kubiaks, and now he's the boss of the Kubiaks.
So you've got people within that organization and within the NFL that have respect for Klint Kubiak. The Saints went to the McVay-Shanahan tree to get their OC. This is the first time the Saints have made an offensive coordinator hire since 2009. When Sean Payton promoted Pete Carmichael from quarterback's coach to offensive coordinator. Mostly, I think what I like about this, now this is going to surprise some of you because I'm actually going to laud something the Saints are doing. When you look at the candidates, Luke Getsy had been an offensive coordinator, but quite honestly, his years in Chicago weren't great. Whether that's his fault or the fault of the organization, what they surrounded Justin Fields with, either way. Gerard Johnson was there in Houston as the quarterback's coach was C.J. Stroud. I could have been very good with Gerard Johnson being the Saints OC, but they decided to go with a guy with a little more experience, same age, but more experience, and certainly more with experience as a play caller. Brian Griese, same thing. I could have been okay with that. You would have gone to the McVay, Shanahan tree there, but it's a guy that's only been coaching since he, for the last 2 years, since he left the broadcast booth where he was for a decade. Ronald Curry, that would have felt very much like status quo, and that's not fair to Ronald Curry, but I feel like the Saints needed to branch out from what they are and what they have been. You need new ideas, fresh ideas. You need to move forward. That's been my big sort of thesis around this whole organization. It's stop living through the rearview mirror and start living through the windshield. Stop trying to get back to what was and recreate what was and think about what can be and how you're going to reinvent this organization for the future instead of continuing to double down trying to get back to what was. And again, that may not be fair to Ronald Curry, but it's a symptom of the situation. Brian Johnson, we talked about him. Yes, he's been successful, but everywhere he's been, he's had a mobile quarterback. If Derek Carr is your guy, then that doesn't make sense. So, and then there were other guys that just passed on you. Shane Waldron, Dan Pitcher, Zach Robinson took other jobs. So considering what the pool of candidates was, I think this was about as good as you could have done. And I'm excited about bringing in fresh ideas from that really successful coaching tree. Now, I don't know if Klint Kubiak will work or if he'll bomb. I just mentioned there was one season where he was the primary play caller for the entire season. It was 2021, and Minnesota was middle of the pack that year. Well, maybe they progress. But ultimately, the thing that I think Drew Brees said on Thursday is the thing that probably resonates the most, which is if you're committing to Derek Carr, then you have to build your offense around Derek Carr. And it's very clear that with the contract they gave him, with the news from Luke Johnson, that the Saints are planning to restructure Derek Carr, that Carr is going to be the Saints quarterback for 2024, 2025, and possibly beyond that, but certainly for the next 2 seasons. And if that's the case, and he's going to be your guy, then you have to give him the best opportunity at success. And that's not hiring an offensive coordinator with a different stylistic philosophy. That's not necessarily hiring someone with no experience who's learning on the job. That's hiring a guy that's still young, innovative, got new ideas, but has experience as well, and is going to bring new ideas into the quarterback room and into the offensive meetings. And I think you got that with Klint Kubiak. But Klint Kubiak, or whoever the offensive coordinator would have been, is only a piece of the puzzle. It's not the whole puzzle for New Orleans. Because the reality is, the left side of your line is a mess. Michael Thomas, I don't even know if he's going to be back next year. So do you really have anything behind Olave and Shaheed at receiver? Let's be honest. Alvin Kamara isn't now what he was early in his career. We hope Kendre Miller's good. Jamal Williams was a major disappointment this year. Foster Moreau, Juwan Johnson, you got a fraction of the production out of the tight end spot you thought you would. Your whole offense needs a rebirth and to be rebuilt. You need better players at literally every position on the field offensively. You need receivers and tight ends and offensive linemen and running backs. So, yes, the play caller, the concepts, all that matters, but it doesn't matter nearly enough if you don't get better players. That includes Derek Carr, who I firmly believe has a low ceiling. You all know that. But as far as who you were going to pick as an offensive coordinator and what direction with the hire that you went, I think this is the right thing. I think this is as good as they could have done with the information that you have and with the situation that you're faced with. So, according to Adam Schefter, Klint Kubiak is going to be the Saints offensive coordinator. Can't become official until after Super Bowl 58, but the Saints are moving forward with their new play caller. Okay, it's After Further Review. Our show open is brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer of the New Orleans Saints, and their new offensive coordinator, Klint Kubiak. And, of course, the official beer of After Further Review. Hey, remember, if you're heading out to the PMAC this weekend, LSU basketball on Saturday, early tip at 11 a.m. If you're going to be out there for LSU in Arkansas, you want some suds early in the morning, of course, grab an ice-cold Bud Light. Be sure to look for the collector's cans as well, these aluminum cans, the 16-ounce aluminum bottles with the LSU Women's National Championship logo on it. Great collector's item. I tell you, look, grab a case as a collector's item, and then grab a couple of them that you plan on drinking. They're only available while they last. When they're gone, they're gone, and it's not going to be forever. So make sure that you get by great local retailers and pick up some Bud Light in the collector's cans for the celebrating the LSU Women's Basketball National Championship. Drink easy in Louisiana with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. Okay, y'all, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out. We'll knock out our first break of the show. When we come back, Brian Kelly was at the Senior Bowl on Thursday, met with reporters. We'll tell you some of what Brian Kelly had to say, and Tigers lose a commit for the class of 2025. We'll touch on that next here on AFR.
AFR.
Hey, look, if you are going to be getting out to the PMAC tomorrow or just looking for a place to watch the games this weekend, you can always get by Pluckers, either location. Nicholson just south of campus or Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. And they open at 11. Tip is at 11. So why not get to Pluckers to watch the game, eat some wings for lunch, drink some beers, maybe some Bud Lights, watch the game. Or if you're going to the PMAC for LSU in Arkansas after the game, Pluckers. It's just south of campus. So go watch the game. When the game lets out, have yourself a late lunch right there at Pluckers just south of campus while the traffic clears. Hey, LSU gym tonight. If you want to grab a bite before the gym meet at 7:30, get on by Pluckers. Great spot for the whole family to get whatever you want to enjoy. Of course, they've got award-winning jumbo chicken wings, great sandwiches, and their salads are fantastic as well. My personal favorite is the blue cheese chicken cob with grilled chicken, ranch dressing. Try it out. Trust me, you'll love it if you love salads. It's at Pluckers. Nicholson, Bluebonnet. Dine-in, carry-out, or delivery, Uber Eats, DoorDash. You'll punch it up on your favorite app. It's at Pluckers, where if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends April 30th.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
You know, more than anything else, for me, it's making decisions that are in the best interest of the program, first and foremost. What is going to be able to give us the best opportunity to recruit, retain our players, and then certainly develop and win football games. I mean, that's the most important thing.
Brian Kelly was at the Senior Bowl on Thursday. There he was meeting with reporters talking about sort of the process of making his staff hires. And then on Friday, I was back in Baton Rouge, hanging out by the levee, letting a bald eagle go. Did you see this thing? The vet school apparently was nursing a bald eagle back to health, and Brian Kelly got to open the crate. That's that's a giant dog crate. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I had boxers. You have a dog?
Yeah.
Well, how big's your dog?
Not very big.
Oh, you got a small dog. You got a little lap dog?
It's a little family lap dog, yeah.
Muse. It's your real dog, bro. Come on. What are we talking about?
I love our dog. He's awesome.
Was your dog a rat?
No.
How big's your dog?
16 pounds.
Well, it's not tiny. But anyway.
It's not like a Chihuahua.
Get a real dog.
Or a Yorkie or something like that.
Get a real dog.
I want a German Shepherd, so yeah. I mean, I would love.
No, don't get a German Shepherd. Only dog I've ever been bitten by is a German Shepherd.
There you go.
Yeah. Don't love that. I love dogs, too. I'm just kidding. If you have small dogs, that's totally fine. Anyway, but this it just goes to show you the context of how big that friggin' eagle is. That's a dog crate that you would put a German Shepherd in. That's a giant full-size dog crate that eagle came out of. You ever see an eagle circling in the air? Get your pets inside. You got a little dog peeing in the yard and you see an eagle or a hawk circling, brother, I'm telling you, they'll swoop down and steal that thing. Right? I mean, they'll think it's dinner.
Oh, yeah.
And watch out for them eagles, bro. That's pretty cool, though. That's an awesome bird.
Is there anything more American than releasing a bald eagle into the wild? I mean, that's got to be at least top 5.
I'd say drinking some bud while wearing Wranglers at a NASCAR race.
That's in there.
That's American. Ain't nothing more American than that.
I mean,
especially with my MAGA hat. I probably shouldn't have said that.
Okay.
Probably shouldn't have said that. Because now all of a sudden,
right.
It don't matter if you're red or blue, you're going to get pissed. If you even say anything relating to Trump, if you're red or blue, it don't matter. You're pissing somebody off. I don't care if you're red or blue. Not one iota. Leave me alone. All right, let's get back to talking about football and bald eagles later. Which that bird is really cool, though. That is a really cool bird. So Brian Kelly did meet with reporters while he was at the Senior Bowl. It wasn't an official thing. It was like a gaggle of reporters while he was standing there on the field. And it's odd because it's been a really busy offseason for Brian Kelly. I mean, he fired the entire defensive staff, replaced them. He's on a tear on the recruiting trail for 24 and obviously for 25. And we hadn't heard from Brian Kelly since the bowl game. He's been just... So anyway, it was interesting. It's the first time that we've had to talk to him. Or that reporters have had a chance to talk to him. He did talk about this busy offseason that they've had since the end of the bowl game.
Obviously, we're getting to the tail end of recruiting. It's been obviously a whirlwind because there's so many things going on: transfer portal, NIL, retention of your own players, development of your own players. But I think we've done a really good job. We've had to hire some new coaches as well. That's been part of the offseason, but I think we're in a really good place right now as we get into February. And in a week or so, we'll be able to really focus on the team that's on campus, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, man, you get past the February signing date, and then it's really about starting to gear up towards spring football, and you can really start to get ready for the 2024 season. The guys, as he mentioned, that are there. And some guys who may not be there yet are guys who are there now that won't be there when LSU tees it up and kicks it off in Las Vegas coming up on September the 1st. But I think of greater consequences. This is the first time Brian Kelly has spoken about the staff hires and the decision to let the defensive staff go and replace all of it. So we'll take these sort of one at a time. Let's start with the defensive side of the ball and the decision to bring back Blake Baker. Here was Brian Kelly.
Well, I got a chance to spend a little bit of time with Blake, but anytime there's a transition, it's very difficult to, commit to anybody because you're bringing in a whole new philosophy and a way of doing things. So, I was impressed with him, and then obviously the work that he did at Missouri, and as an SEC opponent, we got a chance to see him firsthand, and was impressed with his work, his ability to recruit, and then certainly the relationships that he built when he was at LSU made him a logical choice.
So, by the way, two things. One, the last part there, where Brian Kelly said the relationships he built at LSU made him a logical choice. There were a lot of people at LSU that beat the drum for Blake Baker to come back, because Brian Kelly didn't know Blake Baker. Blake Baker was here for 1 year. They'd never crossed paths coaching before. And as you just heard him say, in a transition, when Brian Kelly turned over not just the on-field staff, but like 40 staff members, he didn't get to know Blake Baker. I've used the phrase, he threw the baby out with the bathwater. And that happened with Corey Raymond, with Blake Baker, with Austin Thomas, all guys that are back now. But it's not a knock on Blake Baker. A lot that happens literally everywhere, every time there's a new coaching hire. When you have turnover, there are casualties of that hire. When good coaches are let go, that is without exception, without fail. Anyway, but he also talked about Blake Baker and the relationships and the job he did at Missouri. Remember when Matt House got fired, all the shade that a lot of the current players were throwing at him on Twitter? And we contrasted that with the praise Blake Baker got when he left Missouri for LSU. Eli Drinkwitz, a lot of the Missouri players going to bat for Blake Baker. Just such a contrast with how those two situations ended. Jim Nagy, the executive director of the Senior Bowl, tweeted about Missouri defensive lineman Darius Robinson, who was one of the big standouts of the week. Well, Blake Baker went and quote tweeted Jim Nagy. Practice execution equals game day reality. Extremely proud of you at Darius 6 Robinson. So you quote tweeted him there. So, I mean, the point is Blake Baker has great goodwill and has built up great relationships with those players, which is just a dramatically different reality than what LSU had here with Matt House. I'm not trying to to tap dance on Matt House's grave here, his proverbial grave as a coach at LSU. You know what I'm talking about. But it's a very, very clear contrast when you illustrate the two and how they went. So you bring in Blake Baker, and you also obviously brought in Bo Davis on the defensive line. And here is what Brian Kelly had to say about bringing Bo Davis back to LSU.
When we talk about the best defensive line coaches in the country, his name keeps coming up. And so I got a chance to spend some time with him and talk to him about coming back to LSU. And, it wasn't an easy decision. He was at a great school and a great program, but I think the ability to come here and come back to LSU was attractive to him. The ability to build something here, great, I think was attractive. And certainly teaming him with Kevin Peoples, who is an outstanding defensive line coach who sometimes gets into the shadows, but is in his own right one of the best in the business. I think we've got two outstanding coaches there that are going to do a great job.
We'll see how they divvy up the responsibilities, and that's something that on game day likely won't matter as much. It's more, I think, going to matter as far as preparation, how you handle practice. Like, does Kevin Peoples take the defensive ends and Bo Davis take the defensive tackles? We'll learn whenever they hit the practice field for spring. I mean, Kelly has allowed the media great access, so we'll have an opportunity to see that firsthand, but it's not that dissimilar from what they did this year. I mean, you had Pete Jenkins, or before that, John Jancic taking the tackles, and then in some cases the ends as well. And then you had Bob Diaco taking the jack linebackers, or you could look at it the other way, and you could say, well, you had Matt Howells taking the off-ball linebackers and Bob Diaco taking the jack linebackers. So it's not uncommon. It's not that different from where you have a cornerbacks coach and a safeties coach. So how they divvy up those responsibilities during practice is probably the most interesting thing. But mostly what you want are guys that are technically sound, can coach their position, and obviously can recruit. And you've gotten a major windfall already from those additions. Offensively, the decision to stay in-house and promote Joe Sloan and Cortez Hankton as co-OCs. Again, the thing we saw in the bowl game worked well. LSU put up 500 yards and 35 points in the bowl game. And Sloan has been an OC before, and Hankton left Georgia to come to LSU looking for advancement and promotion, and he got it here. Here was Brian Kelly on the co-OCs.
Joe will take the chief responsibilities and certainly be the play caller. Cortez will have a major role as well. But at the end of the day, if you don't like the play call, you can see me and you can see Joe. So, I think we'll have a clear delineation in terms of the roles. Both of them are outstanding. Joe will obviously still have the quarterbacks, and I think it'll be a team approach.
So, team approach, remember, that's something Brian Kelly also said it was around November, and I asked him the question after one of the games about the job Mike Denbrock had done as the offensive coordinator, and he praised Denbrock, but also was quick to praise Sloan as the quarterbacks coach for developing Jaden and Frank Wilson and Cortez. Now, it was a collaborative game week coming up with a game plan, and that's true, absolutely. Game day play calling. And I by the way, I think they have plenty of brilliant offensive-minded people that will come up with great game plans. My question is, the unknown right now is when you're talking about in-game play calling, sequencing, flow, how does that go? That's what we'll find out whenever we get into game days to see how Joe Sloan does doing that. And one more from Brian Kelly, again, meeting with reporters Thursday out at the Senior Bowl, just the feedback that he's gotten on these assistant hires.
When we're doing our vetting process and finding coaches, we're taking everything into consideration. We're listening to all forms of social media. We're listening to the reports that we hear, and we're doing a deep dive on everything. So if there's lots of negative noise out there, we hear it. Doesn't mean it's going to influence a final decision, but we're listening to everything. Everything that came up on the staff members that we've hired has been very, very positive.
It's hard to go any other direction than positive with the job they've done here. Now they got to go execute on it, but most importantly, you got to get players. You got to get your roster, particularly the defensive side of the ball, back looking like it has when LSU's been a championship roster, and you got the right guys to do it. Brian Kelly there at the Senior Bowl talking about his staff additions for the first time. All right, we're brought to you by Traction, TractionSports.com. Yesterday, sitting in the chair right to my left was Keelan Moses, was good enough to spend about 30 minutes with us. Keelan trains at Traction every morning. Said he's up at 4 o'clock. He's out the door at 4:30. He's at Traction at 5, training with my guy Young Tev over there. Listen, if your son or daughter is going to be the next, 5-star recruit, or just wants to be a better pitcher in their youth league, or wants to improve their foot speed for soccer, or whatever it is, they've got private training, they've got small group training, and it is affordable. You got to call to learn about the pricing structure and find what's best for your son or daughter with individual and small group training over at Traction. TractionSports.com, TractionSports.com. Remember also, Mardi Gras is coming up. The Wednesday, Thursday, Friday after Mardi Gras, if your son or daughter's out of school, the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they've got baseball and speed camps. So full and half-day options. Learn more at TractionSports.com, TractionSports.com. Traction, where champions are made. All right, y'all, we're not going to break. Come back, go around the SEC. The Big Ten and the SEC, by the way, have formed an alliance today. This is pretty fascinating, I think, is a very clear signal of what is an inevitability in college football that we're going to get to. So we'll talk about that coming up here after the break. Could Chip Kelly be headed back to the NFL? There's more smoke there we'll talk about. No Terrio today, so my apologies for that. Terrio's daughters are playing in the soccer in the playoffs, so obviously he's going to go watch his daughters play in the playoffs tonight. So no Terrio today, but we got a ton to do over the next 2.5 hours. So don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Hey, we're heading into the weekend. Yeah, it's supposed to rain on Saturday, but as they say, February showers. No, they don't say that at all. But when the weather does clear, you'll want to have gone by Clegg's Nursery. Any of the 4 locations. Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. I tell you every day to buy local and to shop local. Full greenhouses, and I always encourage you, follow them on social media as well, especially on Facebook. Follow the Clegg's Nursery Facebook page, and whenever they get new shipments in of any specific type of flower or plant or any accessories, they're always quick to post about them. Like here, I mean, if you're with it being carnival season, they just posted this one like 13 minutes ago. I just saw it. It's Mardi Gras flags. If you want Mardi Gras flags for your garden, for your door, any type of Mardi Gras decor, door hangers as well, they got it at Clegg's Nursery. So get on by and see them. It's Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
We'll bypass the traditional around the SEC, but I did want to give you this story, which is a pretty significant one as it's developing, and it's significant both for the college and the NFL fans here. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are set to hire Liam Cohen as their new offensive coordinator. Here was Ian Rappaport today on NFL Network's The Insiders with the details.
Right, but this really does seem to make the re-signing of Baker Mayfield more likely for the Bucs. And if you're Todd Bowles and you're Tampa Bay and you took, they did a lot of great things this year with a not great roster and a lot of dead money. This was supposed to be a reset year. So if they want to run it back with basically what they did, but with a little bit better players and a little bit more money spent, great way to start. Liam Cohen is a bright young coordinator. Did it with the Rams. I think it's fair to say probably maybe wasn't the most experienced at the time. So did it, went back to college, now comes back to the NFL with more experience under his belt. Having done it, this is a really strong move for the Bucs, especially as it pertains to their quarterback.
So it's doubly relevant here. If you are a Saints fan, well, here you have the new offensive coordinator for the Bucs, replacing Dave Canales, who was hired to be the head coach in Carolina. So with Tampa and Todd Bowles, they're hiring their new offensive coordinator in place. Baker Mayfield had said he was not going to sign his free agent deal with Tampa until he knew who the offensive coordinator was going to be. Well, now you know that it's Liam Cohen. So obviously it's relevant to Saints fans because the Bucs have their new OC. And then it's also relevant to SEC fans as Liam Cohen now apparently is leaving the University of Kentucky. And it's so odd because Cohen was at Kentucky, went to the Rams for 1 year, then went back to Kentucky now for 1 year, and now is going back to the NFL. So I think what you're seeing here is, and actually, let me rephrase that. He was, before he went to Kentucky, the first time he went to the Rams. So he was with the Rams for 3 years, went to Kentucky for 1 in 2021, then went back to the Rams in 22, then back to Kentucky in 23, now apparently to Tampa. So he ping-ponged back and forth there with the Rams and the Kentucky Wildcats. So Mark Stoops has to find an offensive coordinator again now with Liam Cohen out the door. But of relevance, so Brock Vandagriff was Kentucky's big sort of acquisition this year. And this is 3 years in a row now that Kentucky's gone into the transfer portal for their quarterback. They went and got Will Levis, obviously, a couple of years ago. Went and got the guy from, who's the guy from NC State? Why am I blanking on his name this year? Quarterback from NC State who they got?
Devin Leary.
Devin Leary, thank you. So they went from Will Levis to Devin Leary and now Brock Vandagriff, who was a highly rated guy from Georgia who was waiting his turn, got beat out, and with Carson Beck returning now, Vandagriff hit the portal, now he's going to Kentucky. So hasn't played yet, but Brock Vandagriff's dad gave an interview and said that even with Liam Cohen leaving Kentucky, his son is still committed and is staying there. So that is one thing that's worth watching. Like, for example, with Kalen DeBoer at Alabama. I don't know, we've had a lot of fun with that, but he had brought his offensive coordinator from Washington with him to Alabama. Well, now it looks like he's going back to Seattle to be the OC of the Seahawks, or at least in talks to do that. So if that happens, do any of the commits at Alabama jump ship? Don't know, maybe not, but it's just something worth watching as it moves through. So Liam Cohen working out a deal to be the new offensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after just 1 year again at Kentucky. How about this jump around? So 18, 19, 20 with the Rams, 21 to Kentucky, 22 back to the Rams, 23 with Kentucky, and then 24 he'll be in Tampa. That's 5 different teams in 5 seasons. Now, it's Kentucky and Rams back and forth a bit, but still, it's a heck of a ping pong ball there for Liam Cohen as a young guy in the profession. Okay, it's after further review. The SEC and the Big Ten have formed a union. I'll talk about this in a second. We're brought to you by Pure Restoration, pure-restoration.com. Scone, what's the mold thing you always talk about? Pure Restoration. Go to the website. Always encourage you to start there, pure-restoration.com. If you can't remember it, just message me, DM me, email me, text me. I'll shoot you the link, pure-restoration.com. If you got mold or odor, they'll get rid of it easy, effectively. Your home, your office, it's pure-restoration.com. And they service Greater Baton Rouge and Greater New Orleans and have been doing so for more than 15 years. So I could not recommend highly enough. Go to the website. Use the website as a great tool to learn more about Pure Restoration and the job that they do. They have a video up as well. If you want to see what the dry fog treatment looks like, you can go to their to the website and you can see kind of that dry fog process and how it looks. It's easy. They come in, they spray the dry fog, their patented non-toxic dry fog treatment, and as soon as the fog dissipates, boom, you're back in free and clear, mold-free, odor-free. It's Pure Restoration. Pure-restoration.com. That's pure-restoration.com. Okay, it's after further review, and glad to have you hanging out with us here. Earlier today, the SEC and the Big Ten announced they have formed an advisory group. So this is the Big Ten and the SEC here working together, which is incredible and illustrative of the times in which we live, where these two conferences, which are going head-to-head, essentially for supreme dominance in major college sports, these two conferences are going head-to-head. Now they're aligning with each other for the future of college sports. In this announcement, the advisory group said they were formed in reaction to, quote, recent court decisions, pending litigation, a patchwork of state laws, and complex governance proposals. Here's the bottom line, y'all. We all know this is a transformative time in college sports. So the two biggest leagues are saying, we're not going to let the NCAA or anybody else dictate to us what we're going to do or what we're going to be. And it's a really smart thing for them to do because they have all the leverage. The SEC and the Big Ten have all of the leverage. They have the most valuable brands, especially now with Texas and Oklahoma coming to the SEC and the 4 teams from the Pac joining the Big Ten. They have all of the leverage. They have the brands, they have the power, they control the money, and they don't need anybody dictating to them how they are going to be run. And y'all, I have sat here for years, literally for years, and you have heard me say, if you listen to this show, you've heard me say, we are headed for one college football, right? I mean, however you want to phrase it, whatever you want to term it, however you want to structure it, where conferences don't exist anymore as we understand them. It's going to be invite only, top 50 teams or whatever it is, and it's going to look like the NFL, where there's not every league has its own TV deal. There's going to be one college football TV deal. I've told you this for years. Like, if you listen to the show, this has been my thesis for years. And it's not even like just a theory. It's so obvious and clear this is the direction that we're headed, and it's baby steps. It's been baby steps getting there. But I think it'll get there not only in my lifetime, but in the relatively short order. So, yes, I think we are headed for this inevitability where you play, where the Power Five as we know it, or whatever the invite only is, only play each other. The group of 5 only plays themselves and crowns their own champion. And it's going to be better for everyone. Nobody wants to watch LSU against McNeese. There's not a soul. Nobody wants to watch LSU and Nichols this year in Tiger Stadium. Nobody. Not a soul. There's not one person that craves that matchup. Is it cool for the kids from Louisiana who go to Nichols who get a chance to play in Tiger Stadium? It's cool for them. Does the smaller school get the check? Yes. Do they need that? Yeah, because of the way they're structured. Does anybody want to, do you get the schedule and go, man, I can't wait to see when LSU is going to lock horns with the team from the Southland? No. And that's going to go away. It's going to make everything more valuable. It's going to make everything better. The product as a whole is going to be better. And we are heading there, and it is an inevitability. We'll see ultimately what this means. And I don't know what, this committee isn't going to have any, authority to implement change or anything, but the SEC and the Big Ten are basically going to collaborate and say, we have all the biggest brands in the sport, all of them. We're going to decide what we are and what we do. Let's do it together. It's going to be a great thing for college sports, a great thing, whether you see it today or not. And change scares people. I get change scared. Human beings are inherently resistant to change. We like status quo. We like normal. We like comfortable. But sometimes change for the sake of change isn't good, but sometimes change is good. And this is going to be one of those instances where you look back in 10, 20, 30 years and go, how did we ever do it the other? We actually let fat sports writers who didn't even watch these teams play vote on who got to win a national championship? That's the thing we did? For how long? Wait, there was a year where the president of the United States determined the national championship? Yes. A team from Florida just decided they were going to be a national champion when nobody voted? Yes, that's a thing that happened in college football. That day is ending. It's going to be a great thing. Okay, it's after further review. We'll wrap up hour number 1 next.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, 2 amazing hotel properties. The Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown. As I tell you every day, if you have an event coming up, maybe it's a work conference and you need a boardroom for a dozen people, the Renaissance Hotel can help you there. Maybe you have a conference where it's going to be as many as 500 people. The Renaissance Hotel can help you there as well. Maybe you've got people, a conference coming in from out of town. You need a place, say, where you have workspace. There are gorgeous facilities at the Watermark downtown. Remember, that's the old Louisiana National Bank building. Some of the old, like, bank vaults, they've turned into some of these boardrooms, which is just an exquisite experience. Fully wired and equipped with whatever you need. Televisions, Wi-Fi, everything to hold your productive board meetings. It's the Watermark Hotel downtown and the Renaissance Hotel Southtown. You got family or friends coming in from out of town for a carnival, make sure they're staying downtown at the Watermark or Southtown at the Renaissance Hotel.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 Black Widow trucks, $20,000 off new Ram 1500 trucks, and all new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends April 30th, 2024.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Join MMR and ignite your career today. MMR is the largest electrical and instrumentation contractor in the nation, and they're seeking talented individuals to join their team. For over 3 decades, they've been headquartered right here in Baton Rouge, and they have offices all around the globe.
And MMR offers a tailored path for both professional and personal development. Outstanding benefits and a dynamic culture. So whether you're an intern, a seasoned pro, or you're just starting out, see what MMR can offer you. Apply at mmrgrp.com.
It was a humid day. Barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Oh, my lucky day, Muse. My lucky day.
Why?
Elon paid me today.
Oh, bankroll. Here we go.
Here we go.
What'd you get?
Yeah, that X monetization. How about it? Matt Moscona, you got paid. Tell you what's happening tonight.
What's happening tonight?
Drive through for one.
Shout out.
$12.34. Yeah! How you like it? Check that out right there. Who says it doesn't pay to be on X? Thank you, Elon. Appreciate it. $12.34 ad revenue there. How about it? Take that, Muse.
Okay.
Muse, just keep coming back.
I don't know what you want me to what
You'll
you
learn a
want me
thing
to
or
do
two,
with
Muse. Just keep following along.
12 what? 1234?
12.34.
Solid,
Hey, how
man.
much did Elon pay you today?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$12.34 richer than you are today. How
So
about
let's see with the mark's $8. So you netted about $4. That's good.
The what's $8?
The check mark to do monetization, right?
Oh, the check mark.
You have to have that to do monetization, right?
I don't know how much it is. It might have actually gone up. So
Uh-oh.
How about this? In that case, then, it's paying for me to do it.
There you go.
To be able to post long form, to edit my tweets, do all that good stuff, be featured in searches and whatnot. You can poo-poo it all you want, Muse. Keep coming back. You might learn something. Like, how about this? Chip Kelly, trying to go back to the NFL. Hey, hit me with the UCLA fight song. LSU fans got to learn this. Uckle's coming to Baton Rouge this year.
They were pretty familiar with it a few years ago.
And I mean about 30,000 of us anyway that were there. This isn't the one I want. There's another one.
This is Sons of Westwood with the Mighty Bruins.
I'm with you. There's another one that I like. It's like dun 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 dun. Anyway, I like fight songs a lot. Chip Kelly may not be there. Apparently, Chip Kelly is Ian Rappaport reporting Kelly interviewed with the Raiders twice, and Jeremy Fowler of ESPN is reporting Dan Quinn has interest in Chip Kelly to be his offensive coordinator. I'm really hoping for this a lot because, look, LSU's got a bear of a schedule this year. And if UCLA coming in has a new coach, learning a new culture, and if Kelly leaves and the portal window opens, they're going to have an exodus of talent like everybody is. So that would really make LSU's non-conference game against UCLA a lot easier if Kelly leaves. So I'm pulling hard for that. Head on out west. Head from Westwood to, east, the other way. It's AFR.
AFR.
Yeah, Washington is east. D.C. is east of west. Yeah. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. I tell you what, Muse. I was there at the Rose Bowl in 2021. Yeah, I was there. Sitting in the end zone with Russ Mitchell. In the turn. We're in the turn. Right next to Russ Mitchell. I could see Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and what was that big tight end's name? The one who nobody could guard or tackle from UCLA?
I blocked that out of my memory.
I could see him with crystal clear, with X-ray, superhuman vision, Muse. Every time, who's your boy, the running back?
That was Charbonnet. Zach Charbonnet.
Charbonnet. I could, when that 24 was running away from me, I could see it 120 yards away. Crystal clear, Muse. Thanks to the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020 for the Williamson Eye Center.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 Black Widow trucks, $20,000 off new Ram 1500 trucks, and all new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends April 30th, 2024.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck. your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, party plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. LeBron James does not want to be traded and will finish the season with the Lakers. That word from James's agent, Rich Paul. ESPN's Brian Windhorst.
LeBron has never, throughout his career, during a season, ever had a wandering eye. He is always, no matter what the future is, and I have no reason to believe it's not in Los Angeles, but LeBron has always been full bore for the team that he is playing with.
Brian Windhorst on Carlin versus Joe. James has until June 29th to pick up his $51.4 million player option for next season. The Steelers name Arthur Smith their new offensive coordinator. He was fired as head coach of the Falcons when their season ended. Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, coming off a career year, expects to sign an extension with the team during the offseason. Buccaneers center Ryan Jensen announces his retirement. He played only one game the last 2 years, dealing with a knee injury. And NHL players will play at the Winter Olympics in 2026 and 2030 for the first time since 2014.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Monday. I'll tell you the one player not named Patrick Mahomes whose legacy will be most impacted by winning the Super Bowl. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Oh, by the way, great news. We will have a Super Bowl companion show at Don Juan. Me, T-Bob, Muse will be there. We'll look forward to, if you're looking for a place to watch Super Bowl a week from Sunday, come join me and T-Bob and Muse at Don Juan for the Super Bowl companion show. Same rules as Whiskey and Wine. It's just a Super Bowl companion show. So we'll see you there for that. We got a lot of basketball. Andrew Lopez will be with us bottom of this hour. Pell's taking on the Spurs. Andrew's been on Wemby watch all season long, so good time to get him back on the show. Wes Moore does a great job covering Arkansas. LSU plays the Hogs tomorrow morning. We'll talk to Wes here in about 15 minutes. One of the gigantic stories that has permeated college football really in the last 2 weeks has been the NCAA finally getting off their behind, or trying to anyway, flex some muscle in the NIL space. They went after Florida. They went after Florida State. Now they're going after Tennessee. So what's going on? Well, Matchpoint is a Baton Rouge company which was there from the onset of NIL, matching athletes and brands, and now they've extended to a white label app product and working with collectives and so many other things. And our buddy Jonathan Pixley from Matchpoint was good enough to join us. So I wanted some context from someone who's in the NIL space every day as to what is happening in this landscape. Pix, good to have you, man. How are you?
I'm great, man. How are you?
Doing great. When you see what's happened the last, say, 2 weeks, right? Florida State, Florida, Tennessee. Now, What do you make of the NCAA just now starting to go after these schools?
They're trying to remain relevant. I think they're, they opened a can of worms they can't close, and you have a new president in place, Charlie Baker, who has a history in politics, so he's probably got the ear of the federal government to a degree, but at the same time, it is a matter of trying to enforce rules that either don't really exist or they've just recently changed for the 12th time, in the last how many years. And I just think that they are grasping for straws right now and trying to make something stick on a grand scale at one of these Power 5 schools.
So what would be the point of, you said trying to remain relevant in the eyes of whom and why?
Well, it's no secret that if and when, and I think closer to when than if, major college football programs split from the NCAA, which I think is going to happen at some point in time. If they do that, then the NCAA struggles to remain relevant, even though we all know that, the NCAA doesn't make any revenue off of bowl games, but college football matters tremendously to the NCAA. And let's just say, again, hypothetically, conspiracy theory here, that college basketball follows, right? So men's basketball, women's basketball follows.
Okay.
People don't know that the NCAA makes 92% of its revenue off of March Madness. And so if those things are gone, then the NCAA is irrelevant other than maybe organizing championships. They're just not relevant to the same degree that they have been all these years.
Makes sense. How can, with NIL existing as it does, Pix, how can Florida State, Florida, Tennessee, how can any school be guilty of something? Exactly.
And that's my issue is if you are cheating, it's really hard to cheat right now. Okay. And if you are cheating, then you literally are looking for reasons to break the very few rules that are very obvious. I mean, think about this. If you're a college coach and you walk into a potential recruit's house for a home visit, as opposed to saying, we're going to pay you this much in NIL if you come to our school, they simply have to brag about their NIL program that they currently have set up. And the recruit can kind of take it from there. Now, granted, you and I know and everybody else knows that's not what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And, this deal with Tennessee is kind of crazy to me because I'm certainly not going to accuse anybody of cheating, but the fact that the Spire Group is directly affiliated with the University of Tennessee, and then there was the plane ride to Knoxville, I think that's the NCAA digging a little bit on that plane ride deal. But at the same time, I just think the timing of everything is the key, and the dollar amount. When you talk about $8 million signed by, how do you pronounce the kid's last name? Is it Imaliva? Is that right?
That's not it. And Jason Swain told me it yesterday, and I already forgot. So let's just go with Nico.
There you go. Okay, so Nico signs for $8 million, and then shortly thereafter, commits to Tennessee. So I just think it's the timing of it was bad. But at the end of the day, can the NCAA prove that there was anything illegal done? And I'm not sure they're going to be able to.
Jonathan Pixley's our guest from Matchpoint. You can go to the website, matchpointconnection.com, or download the Matchpoint app. Hey, in the 2.5 years since NIL went live, and you all at Matchpoint were building up to the launch, right? How has it changed and evolved over that time? How has NIL changed and evolved?
A lot. Initially it comes out with the NCAA, and their, I'll put in, air quotes, rules that they had in place, which there really were just 3 or 4 rules that you kind of had to follow. You can't recruit, can't use it for retention, no pay for play, blah, 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 whatever. But they were battling state laws, right? So, state laws come out soon and say, okay, well, here's our law for our universities and our state. So that, did they conflict with the NCAA? And then soon thereafter enters the collectives. And I think the collectives have had some staying power, obviously, and think what you want to about them. the collectives can very easily follow the NCAA rules that are in place right now and get away with paying large sums of money to athletes perfectly legally. And again, the way the rules are set up right now. So I think over time, the biggest change that we've seen is the amount of money that is being reported, which we don't know what to believe, what not to believe, but the amount of money that's being reported, because you know that once a collective exists and Texas A&M feels like, or everybody feels like Texas A&M has an advantage, well, then every other school is going to do the same thing so that they can gain their advantage. And then I think you're also seeing the downside of it, or one of the downsides of it, which is some of these coaches are getting out of the business in football and basketball and probably others as well that just aren't made it, as public, because they don't want to deal with it. And the irony in that to me is, and again, not going to accuse anybody of cheating, but I mean, before all this was done, this stuff was done on the table.
Yeah, right.
So anyhow, I guess that to me is the biggest change. The number of people who are leaving the sport that they coach because of it, and the large sums of money that are being reported now. But one thing that hasn't changed is that the NCAA has no control over this at all.
Do you think that anything comes of this, the Tennessee situation, either from the NCAA investigating Tennessee or the lawsuits against the NCAA?
No, I don't.
Okay.
And I think that, that they'll be in court forever before anything significant comes down from it. And then let's say that the NCAA wins some initial court ruling. There'll be appeal after appeal after appeal. I mean, let's think about the transfer portal rule that was just had the restraining order put against it, so that now the 2-year guys can be eligible immediately. Right. I mean, I think things like that will end up happening for years and years and years. So no, I don't think anything significant will come of it.
Pix, last thing, real quick, match point, how many schools, collectives, athletes, brands, et cetera, do you all work with? Just ballpark it for me. I don't need like an exact number. I'm just for perspective before I ask a question. So
on our app, we are at over 5,000 influencers. Now, granted, I would say 80% of those are student athletes at this point.
What about like collectives, schools that you all work with?
And collectives, we have 2 to 3 outside of LSU that we are helping monitor, but right now it's primarily LSU, which is a monster.
Okay, and then the 5,000 athletes, which is all over the country.
Correct.
Who do you think is doing a good job, like with school-wise? Like what school collective, like who seems to be organized, like really doing a good job and doing it the right way?
Well, LSU's collective is set up now to where I feel like it's streamlined very, very well. But granted, of course, I'm biased because we're involved.
Sure.
But I do believe that is set up very well. It was a struggle at the beginning, and LSU waited till later in the game to actually have a collective set up. A lot of people were irritated with that, but I think, when you look back now, hindsight's 2020, it was probably pretty smart because they let a lot of other people screw things up so they could see what not to do. And then outside of that, our involvement in the discussions that we have, I would have told you Tennessee was one because I felt like the Spire Group kind of had a handle on that, and they were very, very successful with it, and drawing athletes and this and that, and across the board. And I think the easiest metric to use, if you want to base it on a collective, is how many sports at your school are successful. Granted, we know that the minor sports aren't getting a ton of money from collectives, but those minor sports are also benefiting from the fact that these major sports are successful. And so it's drawing athletes in those minor sports to those minor sports, much like before, okay? But you and I know that football, basketball, the revenue-generating sports, now you can't win without a collective at your school. So, I would have told you Tennessee. I felt like that Ohio State was another one that And again, we have no involvement with either one of those schools, all right? But just from afar, just looking at it, I felt like those two schools would have probably stood out to me.
I was just curious. It wasn't a leading question at all. It was more just to say, I think fans, we all have a perspective based on ancillary, like outside looking in, who it appears is doing well. I'm just curious from an internal view how that might be comparable or different. So it's interesting, man. We'll continue to follow it. MatchPointConnection.com. You can always go download the Matchpoint app. It's a free app. Download if you're interested. You can learn more. Pix, we appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
All right, be well. That's Jonathan Pixley. This is After Further Review. We'll spend a couple minutes talking LSU, Arkansas, and basketball. Our buddy Wes Moore from Little Rock will join us next. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Just last week opened up their 69th location over in Lafayette. Man, continuing to watch Rouse's grow while maintaining that local feel. One of the things I absolutely love about Rouse's, and I got this illustration, they had a Rouse's Media Day last year in 2023, and brought all the media partners in, and just to learn about the brand. And so, popped down to New Orleans for the day and went and did that. And one of the most impressive things was every single opportunity they have to source something locally, they do. For their Rouse's branded products, to obviously what you find in their seafood market, they source local. They value being local so much. It's awesome, man. Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. There's a location nearest you. Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Happy New Year from your friends at Front to Back Boat Service. And what better way to kick off your new year than by taking your boat to the next level? Get the boat of your dreams, and that's where Front to Back comes into play. You want that spot lock trolling motor that's going to keep you right there on the water where you need to be. How about some forward-facing sonar that actually shows you the fish before you even cast? Custom stereo jobs, all of it. Sherman family's been doing it for 38 years. Go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated.
after further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
All right, LSU basketball had some time off. They're back on the hardwood Saturday morning, 11 a.m. ESPN2. Arkansas comes into the PMAC. Interestingly enough, LSU opened up conference play a year ago with a top 10 win over Arkansas, and it just they rattled off a 13-game losing streak after that. It's Arkansas comes in struggling this year. Let's go up to Little Rock. Our buddy Wes Moore from 103.7 The Buzz, and he's also the sports director there at Fox 16 in Little Rock. Wes, great to chat, man. How are you?
Man, it's all good, Matt. How are you?
Really well. Let me start with like the big picture question. That's the really obvious one, right? And then I'll go into nuance. Eric Musselman has had a fantastic run at Arkansas, but it is fallen apart this year. What has happened?
Oh man, there's so many things to dive into. The transfers, and he's been a master at the transfer portal over the years, and this year it just hasn't meshed. I will say that in the last 3 years, when they've made it to the Elite Eight twice and Sweet 16, they've gotten off to very poor starts in the SEC, and then he was able to turn it around. Last year they were 1-5 in the SEC.
Yeah.
You mentioned the LSU loss. This year they're 1-6 or 2-6 after beating Missouri earlier this week. So the hope is there with some of the more optimistic fans. This is the start of the turnaround, but we haven't seen enough with our own eyes to believe that this team is capable of being good enough in this year's SEC that's deep and better than in years past to rattle off 6-7 wins in a row or win, 7 out of 9 to get back into the conversation of making the NCAA tournament. But scoring has been an issue. Defense has been the biggest issue. Eric Musselman teams in the past have played great defense, locked you down, shut you down, and took away what you want to do. And this year, it's a bad combination. When you're bad offensively, bad defensively, you're not going to win many games, and that's what's happened to Arkansas.
They've also lost to Auburn, road games at Georgia, Florida. South Carolina's maybe the surprise of the country, certainly the surprise of the league. Road game at Ole Miss, no shame in losing to Kentucky, top 10 team in the country. That was a hard-fought game there up at Bud Walton Arena. How much of the struggles just you've gone through an early meat grinder?
Well, you look at it, they played really some of the top teams in the SEC and lost to them, but it wasn't that they lost, it was how they lost. I mean, they were getting blown out. Worst loss ever at Bud Walton Arena when Auburn came to town. It was embarrassing. 32 points, I believe, off the top of my head.
Yep.
It's been bad loss after bad loss, and so the hope had dwindled, for fans. And I mean, Kentucky gave you a little hope because they played Kentucky for 38 minutes, 1-point game, and then Kentucky goes on an 8-0 run there at the 2-minute mark, and Arkansas loses that game. But it really wasn't so much of who they were losing to, although it was quality teams in the SEC. It was just how they were losing to them.
I don't see Wes Moore is our guest, 103.7 The Buzz there in Little Rock, and also Fox 16. I don't see a line yet on tomorrow's game, Wes. It might be posted somewhere. I just don't see one. But I'm presuming here that LSU is going to be a home favorite in this game. What does Arkansas have to do to win that game tomorrow?
They got to take the same game plan they had against Missouri, and that's attack the basket. Missouri doesn't have a shot blocker. They don't have an enforcer inside, and Arkansas owned the paint. I think it was 52 points scored in the paint. It was something incredible. And then they made like 21 free throws. It was 73 points they got in the paint or at the free throw line. That's going to win you a lot of games. And Arkansas likes to drive to the basket. They're not a good three-point shooting team. It was 4 of 6, something like that, against Missouri. They didn't take many at all. Yeah, it was 4 of 6 from the three-point line. And Musselman even said after the game, he told them, guys, we're going to drive to the basket. And if you're out there shooting threes, you're going to come back and sit by me. So he threatened them with playing time to stop shooting the three. And it worked because they just attacked. And that's what they've got to do against LSU. LSU doesn't have that enforcer inside, that shot blocker. So I see them, attacking the paint just like they did against Missouri.
He's on Twitter at Wes_Moore, WESS_Moore. Do you see a path for Arkansas to figure it out and get the thing back going in the right direction like they had, you mentioned, the past couple of years after slow starts?
Matt, they dug such a huge hole. 2-6 in the SEC. I don't know if 9-9 would get them in the NCAA tournament. They may have to go 10-8. And they've got 5 games left on their schedule against the bottom half of the SEC. And then they got 5 tough games against the top teams in the SEC, and 4 of those are on the road. The good news is if you can go on the road and get some of those wins against highly ranked, net ranking teams, that's going to help your net ranking. Arkansas's net ranking is 112 right now. I mean, they're not even sniffing the tournament right now. So they have opportunities, but it's going to be tough going on the road at Kentucky or going on the road. They got Tennessee at home still. They got to go on the road to Auburn, I believe it is. I mean, it's a difficult schedule with those 5 teams. But, yeah, there's a way. We just haven't seen enough consistency out of this team besides the last 2 games, playing Kentucky well and then just blowing out Missouri. You just don't – the fans don't have that hope that they can turn this around and win what they need to win down the stretch to get into the conversation of being an NCAA tournament team.
Tomorrow feels like it's a pretty pivotal game for both LSU and Arkansas. Yeah. I don't think LSU has any sort of delusions of grandeur or anything like that, but they've got a stretch coming where if they don't get this one, it could be a while before they taste a win again. And if Arkansas is going to get back into the conversation, it feels like one they've got to get. Hey, while I got you, let me ask you a baseball question as we're here a couple of weeks from opening day. Just a big picture question on Arkansas. They're in everybody's top 10, everybody's top 5, really. What looks like it's going to be the strength of this squad, and what does Dave Van Horn need to figure out over the next 2 weeks and probably the first month of the season?
Starting pitching is going to be the strength. Hagen Smith, many have him as the All-SEC preseason pitcher of the year. He's your Friday night starter. Hagen Smith has done it for 2 years for Arkansas, and he's going to be the anchor. They went out and got Texas Tech's Friday night starter in the transfer portal. He'll be their Saturday starter, it appears. And then Brady Tigert is back. He was their Sunday starter last year. He'll be the Sunday starter this year, it seems like. They've got a lot of freshman arms that some of them they didn't expect to get to campus. Just dynamic arms. They may not have to depend on those guys because the bullpen returns some guys too. So pitching is going to be a strength for this team. They lost a lot of hitters and guys in the field, but Peyton Stovall is back at second base, better than ever. Peyton Holt is over at third base. These are some guys that Kendall Diggs, he's been a big hitter for Arkansas in the past. So they've got to figure out the lineup, what order they're going to hit. They went and got some transfers, 2 transfers from Missouri. Their starting center fielder looks like that'll be Arkansas starting center fielder. Big bat from Tarleton State and will play first base. He's been raking in the fall and so far in the early scrimmages. It is they got to find out a catcher. They also got to transfer a Hawaiian kid. I think the fans are going to love him. The SEC fans are going to really respect his game. He's already won the starting shortstop position. But they have a luxury. Right now they have 4 catchers, and they like all 4, and they don't know which one's going to start. They went from last year not having a catcher, reliable catcher, and they were platooning. Now they have 4 of them. One of them is a high school kid that Van Horn believes is his best catching freshman prospect since James McCann.
Wow.
McCann's still, in the major leagues. High praise, but he might not play this year because they went and got a Texas Tech transfer catcher that hit 300 in the Big 12 last year. So they've got the pieces. It's putting all those pieces together and may have to rely a little bit on the starting pitching early in the season.
It won't be long before LSU and Arkansas are tangling up there in Northwest Arkansas. We'll look forward to that, one of the premier series really of the entire college baseball season. Wes Moore will be there, 103.7 The Buzz in Little Rock, Fox 16. Hey, man, always great to catch up for a few minutes. Thanks for the time.
You bet. Have a great weekend.
All right, man. You do the same. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gents, we are inside of 2 weeks. We are 12 days away, as a matter of fact. A week from Wednesday is Valentine's Day. Don't screw it up, fellas. Make sure you thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where the Lee Michaels experience is what they love to talk about. You walk in, they offer you a beverage. It is incredible. Chocolates on a tray. With 10 stores, they can get you what you want. If they don't have what you want, they can make a custom piece of jewelry for you. And they accept returns. Not every jewelry store does, but they want her to be thrilled. Guys, they want her to open the box and have a breathtaking response. And when you're buying something that's a piece of jewelry, you want that response as well. If you don't get it, They accept returns. Get her what she will love. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Give her a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Yeah, look, I'll say it again with respect to LSU basketball. 11-9 overall, 3-4 in the league. They had the 3-1 start. They're on a 3-game losing streak. And I know Matt McMahon has discussed this, but LSU's got to win their 50-50 games. If you don't get your 50-50 games, this thing's going to go really south. Like, you had Georgia, you had that game won. Miss shot, you box out, you grab a rebound, you win that game. Instead, you allow the offensive rebound, the putback, and one you lose. I mean, that's the difference right now between being 4-3, 3-4, where you are. So when you look at what's ahead, y'all, if you don't get this game at home against Arkansas, you're not winning again until the end of February. Because you're at Tennessee, you're home against Bama, who already crushed you. You're at Florida, at South Carolina, which is one before the season I thought you could have gotten, but they're one of the surprises of the entire country right now. You get top 10 Kentucky at home. Not until you play Mississippi State on Saturday, February 24th, are you likely to get another win. So you got to get this one tomorrow. It is just with rest having not played this week, it is a desperate situation. LSU has got to get this win tomorrow. All right. Pell's got to win to end their 3-game skid. Next up, the San Antonio Spurs. Our buddy Andrew Lopez has been on Wemby watch all year. He's going to join us next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. I had a conversation with Darren last night. 8,000 realtors. This is unlike anything that has literally ever happened in real estate before. LPT Realty in 1 year is up to 8,000 realtors. It's almost like they're adding another 1,000 realtors a week. You want to know why? If you're a realtor, you want to know why so many of your colleagues are making the switch to LPT Realty? Call Darren James. 335-7666, 335-7666. The marketing, the collaboration, and yes, the revenue share. Learn more. 335-7666, 335-7666. If you're buying or selling a home, you need the best. The combination of Darren James and LPT Realty. Agent225.com. That's agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends April 30th, 2024.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
All right, our buddy Andrew Lopez, who was, on Zion watch when he was a rookie. Now they were like, hey, you've done this before. Go to San Antonio and watch Wemby his whole rookie year. Andrew Lopez is good with it. Is good to join us as Worlds Collide tonight. Spurs and Pels there in San Antonio. How are you, dude?
I'm good. I'm headed to the arena now, and that is a very perfect description of what ESPN told me.
How does it compare following Zion and following Wemby here in his rookie year?
Going back to that rookie year, I mean, obviously he had the knee injury to kind of, put a delay on his debut a little bit. He didn't debut until he played the Spurs. Back in that late,
and he went crazy from 3.
Yep, had the 4 threes, everything. Pop was sending double teams at him in the fourth quarter. It was great. The hysteria, I guess, around that, the hype around that, it kind of matches what I'm seeing with Victor right now. I remember like the opening night. There were legitimately the 200 media members credentialed. There were, I think, 11 or 12 different countries there. There were multiple, 15 different French outlets. So it looked like an NBA Finals game. His debut on the sideline all the way around, watching his warm up, and it's cooled off a little as the team has not been very good this year. They're last in the West, and I think I don't want to say it's by design, but part of what San Antonio has done this year has been, hey, let's try to see what works. And if it's Jeremy Sohan at point guard for 20 games and it doesn't work, okay, cool. Now we can try something else. So, but as far as the hype, it is certainly, to me at least, at the same level as it was, especially for those, 2 months before the pandemic hit and through Zion's rookie season for a loop.
Yeah. I mean, Spurs had an 18-game losing streak. I mean, they stink. Yeah. So I'm like, when they're on national TV, and if I bet a Wemby over, I'll watch. But that's about it with the Spurs. Why? So what, from your observation, has made him so good? I mean, he's played well, sure. But what do you see?
He really is unlike anything else that we've seen. And I know we started to use the word unicorn too much, which is why I think LeBron dubbed him an alien, and he's going by the extraterrestrial. He's got like a little alien on his foot, and I think that's a better way to describe him. I was talking to Trey Jones about it the other day. Trey Jones is the starting point guard for the San Antonio Spurs. He's also the starting point guard at Duke for Zion's freshman year, his 1 year there. And so he's kind of had a unique look at both of these guys. And as he said it, they're both one of one as far as their body types. We've never seen somebody 6'6", 285 do the things that Zion does at his size in terms of his athleticism and doing what he does around the rim. And we've never seen somebody 7'4" do any of the things that Victor has done at this level. When you go back and look at, I think his stats right now, he's averaging 20 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks, 3 assists a game. There's only been 7 guys who have done that ever. Not rookie year, ever. And I think the youngest to do it was 25. He's doing it at 20. The person on that list, I think, Alonzo Mourning, with a fewest amount of minutes at 33.6. Vic's doing it at 28.6. He's doing ridiculous things on a minutes restriction on a very bad team where everybody in the arena knows he's getting the ball on these lobs and things like that. If you take out even the assist and it's just 20 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks, only 3 rookies have done that: Shaq, Zoe, David Robinson. And when you look at just how the game is changing, if you look at everybody else on that list and how many times that they've done it, combined, the guys who have hit 20 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks in a season have hit 39 3-pointers combined. Victor's at 63 3-pointers right now. This is something we have not seen, and it's very kind of hard to put into words sometimes. That I think even when I talk about it, it's like I tell people it just doesn't make sense. And players talk about it, and Trade Today or in that article we have on ESPN says it's things we've never seen before. And I think that's kind of the best way to describe him, and he's only going to get better.
Andrew Lopez is with us, ESPN.com. Hey, are you living in San Antonio now?
I am living in San Antonio right now.
Have you? Is it like? Or did you move there permanently, or are you just there for the season?
Oh, I am here. All of my stuff is here. Everything is here.
They done said you're leaving. Hey, have you gone? No, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I was going to say it was a hell of a September because I got married, went on a honeymoon, got COVID, moved the next week. Those were my weeks of September.
Does your wife love San Antonio?
She loves that she has a job now, so that part is then now, sure.
Yeah. Have you been to Boudreaux's on the Riverwalk?
I have not. We have not gotten. Here's the downside of getting here the day before media day is we have literally been on the go since we've gotten here.
Yeah.
And we've been I've been traveling. Sometimes she'll go back to New Orleans or anything like that. So that part has been hard. We're just now starting to get to where we're starting to go out because I'm not traveling on some road trips, but I do need to get down there.
You're living out of a suitcase during the season. That's something a lot of people sometimes lose sight of with all the travel whenever there's those 41 road games. Andrew Lopez, our guest. Yeah. So we have Erica and I, my wife. We have some really good friends that live in San Antonio. And we've gone to visit them several times, and they made us go to Boudreaux's on the Riverwalk, and they said it's the best prime rib they'd ever had, and I agree, it's the best prime rib I've ever had. So if you get a chance,
so it was on a list. I think we were doing. Here's travel in the NBA for a writer right now.
Okay,
we just had our Valentine's Day dinner 2 nights ago.
So good.
I'm not gonna see her for like the next 3 weeks. After this weekend. So I think that was on the list of things. So we do need to get down there.
No, I'm looking at the schedule. So it's at Miami on the 7th, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 straight road games. Holy!
So this is their rodeo road trip every February or March. They are gone for 9 straight games. Now it is the All-Star break is in between. So I'm going to go do the first part of that road trip, skip a day, go to Indy, then try to figure out, hey, do we have time for a mini vacation? Maybe, maybe not. And then the back end of the road trip. So, good luck seeing my house in February.
So good, man. I mean, not, but yeah. So you want to be a sports reporter, huh, kids? Just saying. It sounds awesome until you're living out of a suitcase and on a plane every other day. All right, real quick, we got a couple minutes. Andrew Lopez, before you go, give me a thought on tonight's game. I don't know how much of the Pels you've gotten to see, but they snapped their 3-game skid, beating Houston, and now they're on the road against San Antonio. So give me a thought on this game tonight.
Yeah, this is the first of what should be a very, very good month for the Pels. They come out of that hellacious January that they just had, toughest strength of schedule in the NBA at 8-7. And I mean, that's all you can really ask for is that they came out of that with a winning record. Now they got a chance to improve, get themselves back up in the standings. Right now, it looks like 1 through 4 is going to be kind of set. It looks like 5 through 8 is going to be a battle with the Lakers kind of sneaking up there, if they make some moves or do whatever at the end. So here's your chance to kind of move yourself back into position to be 5 and 6. You look at this schedule, 9-3, 10-2 is not out of the realm of possibility to me. I think that's what you're going to have to work to. We'll see if Zion plays tonight. We'll see if Larry Nance plays tonight. We'll see if Trey Murphy can get back going. It's kind of one of these things. I try to watch their games while I'm at Spurs games. It's a little hard to do at times, but if I'm not, I'm going back and watching the replay from NBA League Pass, a little 30-minute replay the next morning. So I have been trying to watch as much as I could, but I know this month right here is going to be very important as they try to get in those standings, because I still think if they can get to top 6, to me, that's a successful season. Whether or not you get out of the first round or not, you just get out of the play-in, then you can kind of reset, make the moves you need to make in the summer, and then go from there.
Andrew Lopez, you'll follow him on Twitter. Check out his stuff, ESPN.com. He's there on Wimby Watch. All right, thank you, dude. We appreciate you, man.
See you.
All right, be well. We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Big shout out to my guy Martin, the whole gang over at Shawbills. Man, I love telling you about Shawbills every single day. Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. If you're looking to buy tires, they've got name brand tires at wholesale prices. And how about this? For the next 8 days until February the 10th, they have in-store instant savings. $180 off Bridgestone tires if you buy a set of 4, and $170 off of Firestone tires for the set of 4. Plus, if you spend $500 or more on your Shawbills credit card, you'll get another $30 mail-in rebates. You're talking about pushing $200 off your set of 4 tires. Name brand tires, wholesale prices. Go to Shawbills. If you need tires, you need to go to Shawbills. They're the best. They'll treat you like family. Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, we keep you rolling. Boudreaux's on the Riverwalk, by the way. Have either of you ever been to San Antonio, Muse, ever?
I have been to San Antonio, but it was only for like a weekend. Didn't make it to Boudreaux's.
Ollie, have you been to San Antonio?
I have. It was when I was younger, so I don't really remember much of it.
So when Eric and I were dating, like our first Christmas together, I gave her a trip, surprised her with a trip to San Antonio to see her friend. So Aaron, shout out Aaron, William and Aaron Spalton. One of Erica's really good friends. She got married. They live in San Antonio now. So I surprised her with a trip. So we flew. It was the weekend of the NFC Championship game, the Saints and the Vikings. Your boy didn't have the forethought. And I was a season ticket holder at the time, so I sold my NFC Championship game tickets.
Hey, spending cash for the trip there.
It's more like, you found one if you're not going to the NFC Championship game. Anyway, I've been to 2 of the 3 NFC Championship games the Saints have been in. I went to Chicago, and I was the one against the Rams. I did not make the one against the Vikings.
Maybe it's you.
Maybe I should just stay away NFC Championship games. Anyway, so they told us can you pull this up, Paulie? So this is Boudreaux's on the Riverwalk. You can see, this is the outdoor area. If you look on the left of this picture, you can see the river. On the left is the river. And so then this is the outdoor patio. And there's different, you can sit inside. Not only is the prime rib the best I've ever had, but they will make guacamole at your table. They bring this station where they cut the avocado and they make it right there at your table. It's fresh guacamole made right there. It's incredible. Like one of the coolest dining experiences I've ever had. So shout out if you're going to San Antonio. Go Boudreaux's, no X. Boudro apostrophe S. Boudreaux's. So no EAUX or anything like that. There's the prime. Look at that. Pull that up, Paulie. Look at that.
Okay, yeah, that looks incredible.
Oh my God,
that looks absolutely fantastic.
I'm telling you, the best prime rib I've ever had in my life. Boudreaux's on the Riverwalk in San Antonio. And then they had some big. We went to some big. They have Mexican bakeries are huge there. We went to a place called like Panderia, La Panderia. It's a huge It's like Grand Central Station for bakeries. It's crazy. It's right by the Alamo Dome, as a matter of fact.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, okay. It's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. Muse will do Tigers and the Pros next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Action Industries. 2 weeks from today, the LSU baseball Tigers will be taking on VMI. Tommy Tanks is going to hit a bomb, and you know what's going to happen? Whoever the coach is for VMI, no idea who it is, he's going to walk out to the mound, and everyone's going to be going, leave him in, take him out, whoop, woo. And you know what that pitching change, that mound visit is going to be brought to you by? Action Industries. Since 1982. They've got 2 locations of Action Industries. And I love telling you about the Geismar location as well, because it's right there on Highway 30. So many people who are going up and down Highway 30 at the plants. You pass right by it all the time. It's Action Industries since 1982, serving some of the biggest companies chemical, petrochemical in the world. All those plants up and down the river. If you need safety and quality, you need Action Industries. Check them out online or on LinkedIn, Action Industries.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Join MMR and ignite your career today. MMR is the largest electrical and instrumentation contractor in the nation, and they're seeking talented individuals to join their team. For over 3 decades, they've been headquartered right here in Baton Rouge, and they have offices all around the globe.
And MMR offers a tailored path for both professional and personal development, outstanding benefits, and a dynamic culture. So whether you're an intern, a seasoned pro, or you're just starting out, see what MMR can offer you. Apply at mmrgrp.com.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends April 30th, 2024.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2, Muso. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, one.
Shout out to my guy, Joel Satoon. Told me he did this mix, the Tigers on Acid mix.
Oh, shout out
like
to Joel.
Like in 2004 or 2003, 4, somewhere in there. Just I randomly was listening one day, shot me a text, he goes, "Hey, that's my mix." I'm like, Tigers on Acid? I mean, I was listening to that at tailgates in 2003, man. Go DJ, Joel Satoon, what up, my guy?
Shout out.
Shout out, Joel.
G League last night, Darius Days, 7 points, 10 boards in the ball game. Really rough shooting night. He shot 18% from the floor. That ain't going to really get it done for you more often than not, but did contribute to 10 rebounds to help his team. Here we are, Chinese Basketball Association, Antonio Blakeney. He is on some kind of a heater. 36 points last night, or I guess earlier today. I don't really know the time difference. 36 points in his last game over there in China. 31 minutes. How about this? In his last 10, 8 of his last 10, he's scored 30 or more points. And a couple times he's dropped 40. he's on an absolute tear. Couple of injury updates to get you up to date with, I should say, in the NBA. Updates to get you up to date. Tari Eason once again out tonight for the Houston Rockets, but Ime Udoka did say yesterday that Eason started to ramp up his activity level and could rejoin the Rockets next week. Said that on 610 in Houston, 610 Sports Radio 610 in Houston, excuse me. And then Ben Simmons. Brian Lewis from the New York Post is reporting that Ben Simmons is expected to be available Saturday against the Philadelphia 76ers. Of course, it was the left knee contusion. MRI was negative. It didn't require drainage, so they gave him an anti-inflammatory, and he should be good to go. Over at Pebble Beach, Sam Burns still playing well, down to 6 under or up to 6 under. That's an interesting way to put it. He's 6 under par. He's tied for 16th. Actually playing the Pebble Beach course today. He is through 15 holes. That is Tigers in the Pros.
And you didn't include Curtis Thompson.
You don't want me to include Curtis Thompson today.
You just flat missed on it yesterday.
But you don't want it. I promise.
We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Do we need to measure how far his slice was today, Muse? Can I get a rim shot there, please? Come on. Well, you got all the buttons. Make it count, Muse. Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Do we need to measure the water pressure at the depths of the water hazard there that Curtis Thompson hit into? Michelli can do it. Michelli Weighing and Measurement. You weigh or measure something, they sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. Go to Michelli.com, Michelli.com. ISO 17025 accreditation. If you know what it is, you know why it's important they do it. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. They still love to do business face-to-face, even though they've continued to grow with 30 offices in 11 states. Michelli.com. That's Michelli.com. Okay, hour number 3 coming straight ahead. Cade Beloso in about 20 minutes. Looking forward to that. Stick around here. It's Friday edition of AFR.
AFR.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 Black Widow trucks, $20,000 off new Ram 1500 trucks, and all new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Some kind of hold on me, like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown, hoping to clear up any confusion. Rich Paul, the agent for LeBron James, says James won't be traded and plans to finish the season with the Lakers. ESPN's Brian Windhorst.
The Lakers are in New York. The Knicks are red hot. LeBron had whatever that passive-aggressive tweet was. The Lakers are 500, although they're coming off a big win. There starts to be this conversation about what might happen, and I think Rich just wanted to shut it down.
Brian Windhorst on Carlin versus Joe. James has a player option for next season. He has until June 29th to pick up that option. Former Red Sox and Cubs GM Theo Epstein is going back to Boston, only this time as a minority owner and senior advisor to the team's parent company, Fenway Sports Group. Quarterback Teddy Bridgewater retires from the NFL and is now the new head coach at his high school alma mater, Miami Northwestern. The Los Angeles Kings fire head coach Todd McClellan. Jim Hiller named interim coach. The team has won 3 of its last 17 games.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Commercial Insurance. It flexes to fit your business's needs. From quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options, Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You suck. And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Busy show today, and man, we got a lot to do. If you missed the headline news today, Adam Schefter, just before we came on the air with the news that the Saints are working on hiring 49ers passing game specialist Klint Kubiak. So we did a full reaction to that in hour number 1. If you missed it, you can catch it on demand at 1045ESPN.com. On your favorite podcast app, just search After Further Review, or on the After Further Review LSU YouTube channels. I like it. All things considered, you get a really good combination of a lot of different things that you would have liked to have seen. You get a young offensive coordinator and again, this isn't an ageist statement. There's plenty of older coordinators that are really good play callers, but the point being, as we've seen the game evolve, there's a lot of guys in their 30s who have grown up in the McVay, Shanahan tree, and they all seem to be doing really well. So you get someone who's plugged into that, branch off of that tree. You also get a guy who has been a play caller before at this level, a guy who's coached quarterbacks successfully, who's been a passing game coordinator. So for a lot of different reasons, it's new, it's fresh ideas, a lot of reasons to like what the Saints have done here in bringing in Klint Kubiak. Of all the candidates that the Saints interviewed, I think this probably would have been my top candidate. There were certainly guys that were intriguing if it was Dan Pitcher or Zach Robinson, Shane Waldron, who chose other jobs. Not to say they would have been offered the Saints job, but chose other situations that probably suited them better. So of the list that had been pared down, I think Kubiak was probably your best choice. He checks a lot of boxes, and he's been to a lot of places in a short amount of time, but it's garnered him a lot of experience as well. So nothing can become official until after the Super Bowl, but it looks like the Saints have hired Klint Kubiak to be their new offensive coordinator. So plenty of reaction, no doubt, coming from that. It was interesting as a lot of reaction comes in. There's a show on 95.7 The Game called The Krug Show, and Larry Krueger is the host, and he kind of talked about the relationship between the Shanahans and the Kubiaks, who obviously the dads coach together and against each other, and now the sons know each other as well.
Kyle Shanahan has to be comfortable, and he has to have total trust in his offensive assistants, whether they're calling plays or not. And the trust that the Shanahans and the Kubiaks have going back 3 decades almost guarantees that this is going to be a guy who walks in knowing what Kyle's expectations are. This is a kid who grew up around the game. Football is the family business for Gary Kubiak and Klint Kubiak.
A lot of reasons to think this can and will and should work. Again, no coaching hire is absolute. The closest thing you can ever get to a sure thing is in the college level if you hire Nick Saban or Urban Meyer. That's about the closest thing you can get to a sure thing. But you try to check boxes and eliminate variables, and this does a lot of that. So I like it. I think it's about as good as the Saints could have hoped to have done. Now let's see what they can do to sort of help build and tinker and rebuild this roster as they move toward the 2024 season. Okay, it's After Further Review, brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Commercial or residential. As a matter of fact, had 2 calls this morning from local area businesses with metal roofs that had roof damage. Immediately, we got on the phone, got people out to go inspect them. Whether it's your home, whether it's a commercial building, if it's a metal roof, if maybe you need that commercial, that metal, that coating product that I talk about, comes with a 20-year warranty and is roughly half the cost of a roof replacement. Let us come help you out and go over your options. We're local. It's Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. Over the past several weeks, we have certainly celebrated a lot of the wins for the LSU class of 2025. As a matter of fact, on Thursday, right here in studio, we had Keelan Moses for two segments, as he has been really the primary recruiter of that 2025 class, among the recruits anyway. Well, the class of 2025 lost a commitment today. It's cornerback Jalen Bell, who earlier today shared on social media that he is withdrawing his commitment from LSU and asked everybody to respect his decision. He'll pursue other options. When I kind of spell this out, I think it'll become really clear what happened here. So Jalen Bell is he's out of Georgia, out of the state of Georgia, and he committed in November of 2022. So that was November of his sophomore season. So right around the time, November of 22, when LSU beat Alabama at home in November of 22, that's when Jalen Bell committed. He was the first commit of the 2025 class. And since then, we've seen, some real blue chippers come into the 2025 class. Jalen Bell is a 3-star defensive back. He is 5'10", 160. And he is rated as the number 485 overall prospect in the country. He's the 55th best cornerback and the 50th best player in the state of Georgia. Do you kind of get my drift? I'll just say it. So LSU took his commitment when he was a sophomore in high school, and he has now gone through his junior year. And as I was told earlier today, he actually didn't even start for his high school team as a junior. He's ranked in the 500s nationally. And when you look at the LSU class, or the class that LSU is building for 2025, it's pretty apparent. Like when you go up and down the list of the 2025 commitments, there's Bryce Underwood, 5-star, number 1 player in the country. DeCorian Moore, 5-star, number one receiver. Harlem Berry, a 5-star, the number 1 running back. Jabari Antoine, a 4-star, number 45 nationally. Devin Harper, the 7th best player at his position in the country. Keelan Moses, a top 200 guy. J.D. LaFleur, a 4-star tight end. You understand? Brett Bordelon, a 4-star offensive lineman. Teron Francis, a 4-star wide receiver out of Carr in New Orleans. Like, there was one real outlier, and it was Jalen Bell. Listen, sometimes you take a commitment, and as the recruiting process goes along, you continue the evaluation. And if it doesn't look like there's going to be a fit, you have that candid conversation. And that's clearly what happened here. LSU replaced its entire defensive staff. Brian Polian was the recruiting coordinator at the time. Remember, this is the Brian Polian that I told you got on a plane to fly to Bishop Gorman in Las Vegas to recruit a 3-star cornerback. This is LSU. You don't have to fly over states to find 3-star cornerbacks. They're everywhere. Okay? So you have a new staff in here. They're reevaluating, and it's pretty clear what happened. I was like, hey, look, you should probably find another spot. So, yeah, he can put out there that he's decommitting, and for if maybe that, however it saves face, but whatever. I mean, that's the game that a lot of kids play, and it's fine. Whatever, it's fine. But it's just very clear there's a different standard. Remember, LSU for 2024 had taken commitments from Andre Evans and Kai Bates, 2 kids from private schools in Nashville and Orlando, respectively, that got purged out of this 24 class. And instead, they went and signed P.J. Woodland and Bernard Causey, a kid from Hattiesburg and a kid from New Orleans. Like, it goes that way sometimes. LSU's got to raise its standards. I mean, y'all want to talk about what is compared to what was and all the Corey Raymond convo? What I remember is Corey Raymond was recruiting Derek Stingley, Eli Ricks, Dwight McGlothern, Jay Ward, Cordell Flott, bunch of NFL dudes. You ain't had dudes that look like that since he's gone. You got to raise the standard again. And that's what this is, and that's clearly what they're doing. One other thing to keep an eye on with respect to the cornerback room for 2024, the 2024 season, I think you're going to see more guys. We've gone over the numbers. In my very, very unofficial scholarship count, LSU's around 90, so they're going to have to lose a handful of players just to get within the compliance of 85, right? Well, look, LaTerrence Welch, Denver Harris, Deuce Chestnut, they've all transferred, right? So you lost those 3, but Zy Alexander, J.K. Johnson, Ashton Stamps, Jeremiah Hughes, Ryan Robinson, Sage Ryan, if you want to count him as a corner, that's 6. Jair Brown, you just brought in, is 7. Then the 3 freshmen, Woodland, Juwan Johnson, Bernard Causey. You got 10. You have 10 cornerbacks on this team right now. 10. And they may want to add another starter via the portal. So when you're looking at, okay, to get within roster compliance, where might they lose a player? That's a pretty good spot to start. Players where you have a lot of bodies, receiver, corner, offensive line. Some dudes that are far down the depth chart, those may be the ones after spring who hit the portal. Just something worth keeping an eye on because you don't need 10 cornerbacks. And certainly when a bunch of them haven't even shown you they're capable of playing at this level yet. So we'll keep an eye on that part of it. But The update, Jalen Bell out of Georgia, 3-star defensive back who was LSU's first commitment for 2025, has left the class of 2025. And when you've already got, one of the top corners in the country committed now in Jabari Antoine, you had the number one safety on campus this week in J.D. Pickett. You can tell LSU has raised the bar. They've raised the standard, and they're clearing that bar still right now. Okay, it's after further review. Our Friday shows are brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Quick reminder again, T-Bob and I will be there at Don Juan a week from Sunday for the Super Bowl companion show. Same rules as Whiskey and Wine. Whiskey and Wine, except it's a Super Bowl watch party on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. We'll hope to see you at Don Juan Cigar Bar for a Super Bowl Sunday a week from Sunday. Let me knock out a quick break. LSU national champ Cade Beloso joins us next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Cade, of course, was a member of the G team. So many student athletes, male and female, not just at LSU, but at universities all over the state, are members of the G team. Gordon McKernan, injury return, has actually just welcomed LSU transfer Anissa Morrow from the women's basketball team. From Chicago, transferred in from DePaul, one of the top scorers in the country. Anissa Morrow, now a member of the G team. As Gordon continues in honor of Women's History Month, which is coming up, to announce and roll out new female members of the G team, shining a light on women's sports and all the great stuff that they're doing there. So congrats to Anissa Morrow on joining the G team. And, of course, if you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. You need representation. Go to getgordon.com. Do what injured people in our state have done for more than 30 years. Gordon and his team have recovered more than $2.6 billion in damages for their clients, and you could be next. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. Get Gordon. Get it done.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends April 30th, 2024.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Rolling along here on a Friday, 2 weeks away. Man, 2 weeks away from opening day out at the box. Fired up for it. Why not take a quick second and relive one of the great moments from the College World Series this past June? This will be fun. Let's do this. This will be really fun.
That one was right in his wheelhouse, and Beloso, big-time home run to put the Tigers on top.
How about a belly bomb in the 11th? Let's get it. Cade Beloso joins us. How are you, dude?
What's up, brother? I'm good. How are you?
Man, I'm doing awesome. Baseball 2 weeks away. This is the first time in, I don't know what, like 7-8 years that you're not going to be wearing an LSU baseball uniform. I mean, it's been forever. But how is it a little surreal for you that baseball season's 2 weeks away and you're not suiting up?
Man, it's a little different. I'll be honest with you, but I mean, I'm so fired up to be a supporter of the team and sit back and watch the product on the field and really just get to enjoy LSU baseball. Honestly.
Give us an update, man, on you, for all the fans who obviously rode that magical ride in through the postseason into June and you all winning the national championship. Of course, everybody knows your story and getting married. And give us the update on life, man.
Yeah, man, life's good. It's definitely different not being at the ballpark from all hours of the day and night. But man, I've been enjoying it. Spending some time with my wife and family and friends and working and doing a lot of golfing, honestly, man. So it's been a different change of pace, but it's been good. Is
baseball done? Are you off to a professional career?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
What are you doing?
I work in industrial sales.
Very nice. Well, shout out your employer, man. Like, might as well get some brownie points, man. Shout them out.
Come on. Yeah. I work for Chaparral Industrial Services. We have an office in St. Gabriel, so if you need softcraft, let me know.
I love it, man. Cade Beloso is our guest. Hey, man, let me what do you I don't know. Do you still keep in touch with a lot of guys on this team right now?
Yeah, I mean, I talk to a majority of them every single day. We keep up with each other, and I obviously everybody gets a little busy, so it's hard to hold long conversations, but it's quick here and there, pretty much every day. So I deal with a lot of them.
When you think back about what the team looked like last year going into the season, and what it looks like right now, how would you compare and contrast what they are now to what you all were 12 months ago?
I mean, they're going to be really good, man. There's no doubt about it. I think there's just going to be there's going to be a lot of new faces, but that's okay. As long as Jay Johnson's under the roof, they're going to be fine. They're going to hit, they're going to play good defense, they're going to pitch with the best of them. So it's going to be exciting to see. I mean, it's going to be a lot of new names, especially for me to learn. With freshmen and transfer portal guys, and some LSU fans might not be accustomed to seeing Trey Morgan run out to first base or Dylan Cruz roam center, but I think they're going to be unbelievable again this year. So it'll be fun to see.
Jordan Thompson at short, obviously, as well. I mean, so many guys that are stalwarts at their position are gone, but, man, you return so much.
Gavin Dugas,
of course.
It's going to be different, but it's going to be a good different in a way.
Let me ask you about some of the guys that were part of the team last year that are going to be expected to take a bigger role this year. Jay has said that Bear Jones, he's just going to ink his name in the everyday lineup at first base. So
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. What can we expect to see? What would you expect sort of as a graduation year 1 to 2 for Jones?
He's going to be a stud. The guy is a big leaguer. LSU's lucky to have him. Obviously, he's the strongest kid in college baseball. But I'm expecting to see even though he had a phenomenal freshman year, he's a freshman All-American. There's going to be a big jump just knowing what he knows going through an SEC gauntlet, knowing how people are going to try to pitch to him. Obviously, he's going to get a lot more spin just because that's what he got last year. So I'm assuming he's been working on that all off season. But he's going to have a really good year. There's no doubt about it. I'm excited to see Bear take that jump and see him put some balls off the ops building in left field.
What do you think about him making the transition to playing first base every day? Like how easy or challenging is that going to be for him? I mean, that's something you did, obviously.
I think he'll handle it good because he played first a good bit last year. When Trey moved to left and I was DH and Bear was at first, and he plays a good first base. he's a big target, so all you got to do is throw the general area, and he's going to catch it. So I think he'll handle first fine. He'll do really good over there.
What about and Cade Beloso is our guest behind the plate, man? Travinsky's back, Brady Neal's back off of injury, Milazzo's back as well. Best guess as to how Jay's going to handle that platoon?
I don't know, man. You got three of the best catchers in college baseball, so it's going to be interesting. But it's a good problem to have. You'd rather have three good ones than you don't have them. So, But I mean, obviously, you're getting out of all three of them, and I mean, it's going to be cool to see what Coach Jay and the rest of the staff decide to do. I mean, I think Travinsky's going to hit every day, no doubt about it. He's one of the best hitters in the game, so it's going to be interesting to see.
They're certainly not going to be lacking for talent on this squad. It's going to be a lot of fun.
No.
I mean,
I saw a tweet the other day, and this is another thing about not playing anymore. You get to read social media a lot now and kind of see people's opinions, and it's hilarious. Everybody knows everything. But I saw a tweet the other day, and it was asking how LSU's hitting is going to be, and I started laughing, imagining a team being coached by Jay Johnson and Chief that are not going to be good hitters. It's unbelievable.
Dude, this team. I don't know if you agree with this, Cade, but this is kind of the narrative that I've and full disclosure, I never get to watch the team in fall ball. It's football season.
Yeah.
I don't. So the first time and then they practice while I'm on air. So the first time I ever see them is when they go play the first game. But the narrative seems to be this team is going to be deeper than last year. You don't have Skeens, you don't have Cruz, obviously, but 1 to 35 deeper. Do you think that plays? Does that make sense?
I mean, there's no doubt about it. They probably could be. That's just the way Coach Jay operates, and the recruiting. That's the way they handle things. They get aggressive with it, and they get the best players in the country to come play for you. So you're going to be loaded year in and year out. So there's no doubt about it that if someone says, I've only seen them play a couple times in the fall, and I mean they looked really good. And I've heard some stuff from Jamie and Milazzo and Travinsky and Thatcher. But man, it's going to be exciting to see. They're going to be good.
Who is? All right, give me a pitcher or a couple of names that we didn't get to see last year that is going to be really good that you're excited to see throw this year.
Oh man, I'm trying to think. Let's see, just a pitcher that didn't throw last year. I think could be a big step.
Maybe somebody we didn't see pitch a lot or throw a lot of innings. Maybe one of the freshmen or something like that. Who didn't get a lot of innings. Who would you expect would make a big step this year?
Jaden Newt comes to mind.
All right, give me a little thumbnail
Moffitt, for sure.
Give me a thumbnail on Newt and Moffitt.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean Moffitt throws 100. He has a good slider, so if that excites you, that's pretty cool. I mean he didn't get to throw a lot last year, but he's really good. He's really talented, and I'm sure he's going to have a big role this year. And then before Newt, tore his UCL. I was standing in on the bullpen that it actually happened, and we were taking live at bats. And I tell you what, it was some of the most electric stuff I've ever seen. The ball was just jumping out of his hand at 96, 97, and he throws a splitter. That is unbelievable. So I mean, if he's what he tore before the season, so he should come back right around month or two in. He's going to be unbelievable. There's no doubt about it.
How often are you going to be at the box this year, man? You going to get to catch a lot of games?
I don't know, man. We'll see. Hopefully, get my hands on some tickets if anybody wants to take me. I'll try to make some games. But no, man, I'm definitely going to watch, all I can on TV and try to get out there. Some Saturdays and stuff like that.
Dude, I think you'll be all right finding someone who lets you give you a seat in the box. Cade Beloso. Man, hey, you, Hot Rod was texting me, man. We got to crack that bottle, dude. So we got to do it soon, all right?
Yeah, that's right. That's what I heard.
Yeah, man. We'll do it. We got it. We'll play. We'll text. We'll plan. We'll do it a day before. But we got 2 weeks. We got to do it sometime in the next 2 weeks before first pitch. We got to do it. All right.
All right. Sounds good, man. Just let me know. Holler at me.
All right, Cade. It's a pleasure, man. Thanks for a couple of minutes here.
Sir, I appreciate you, man. Later.
That's Cade Beloso, national champion, man. He's off into the real world now. It's got to be bizarre when you for any baseball player when you consider from the time you're when do kids start playing baseball? 5, 6 years old, 7, whatever. From that point all the way through, and especially now where it's travel ball and there's tournaments and there's showcases and all that stuff, and it's such an all-consuming part of your life. and you go and you go and you go and you go, and then it's over. It's not, there's no gradual, there's no off-ramp. It's just LSU dogpiled in Omaha, and it's over. So it's, I would imagine, a bit surreal, but Cade's got great things going on in his life, man. We know he got married and started working in the real world now. I texted him earlier today. He's like, hey, man, I'm playing golf. I got an 11:30 tee time, but I should be done by about like 4:30 or 5 o'clock, so holler at me. So it's awesome, man. I'm so glad he gave us a couple of minutes and some insight. And I sometimes find, and I'm glad he said it, because I've found this a lot, where right when you're, let me not use an LSU example. Tony Romo. The first year Tony Romo was calling games, it was like he was like a savant. Like he was calling every play, remember? Well, a big part of that was he was so fresh out of the game. He had scouted these teams and these players and these coaches every week for a decade. He knew the players, the coaches, the schemes. He knew it all. He already knew it. And so sometimes when guys are so close to it, like you just heard Cade say, he knows everybody on the team still, primarily, except the transfers and everything. He knows so much about the team, but when they're out, they can start to be a little more candid, right? The coach doesn't have the watchful eye on about what they're saying in front of reporters. So sometimes you'll get good stuff. Like I loved what he just said about Jaden Newt and Aiden Moffitt. I mean, Moffitt's a guy that Moffitt looks like a defensive end. I mean, he's a 6'3", 220-pounder that throws 100. Jaden Newt said, man, that was electric stuff. Tore his UCL, had the Tommy John surgery. See if he comes back this year and what he might be able to do. But that should get you fired up. It's great perspective from a guy who knows these guys well. So appreciate Cade. Yeah, and the thing about the bottle, for those, I know I've told this before, but I'll say it again just really, really quickly. So, I don't know, 5 years ago, it seems, Cade's dad, Hot Rod, was doing some advertising with us. Shout out Hot Rod's Cajun seasoning and all the full line of products. Go check it out. Hot Rod's Creole. Great stuff, too, by the way. Hot Rod's Creole. Hot Rod was doing some advertising with us. He and I met, and he gifted me a bottle of whiskey. It was a bottle of Blanton's Gold with a dump date of 1999. I mean, they took it out of the barrel, put it in the bottle in 1999. I mean, the bottle's as old as Cade is. And so he gave it to me, and I was like, man, I feel really, really guilty accepting this. It's a very, like on the secondary market, that would be a very expensive bottle. So we made a deal. When LSU wins the national championship, I'll put it on my shelf. When LSU wins the national championship, we'll open the bottle. And I'll be darned, Cade comes off the ACL. They had the run they did. They win it. So Hot Rod and I've been talking about, we got to crack this bottle. And so I want to do it before first pitch of this season. So sometime in the next 2 weeks, we got to do it. So I'll get Cade and Hot Rod in studio. We'll crack the bottle, and I'll look forward to that. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. Thanks for being here with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. You know where to find them, 752-0001, 752-0001. Hey, let me give a shout-out, a personal shout-out today to Chris Ainsworth. Chris was at my house earlier today. I tell you all the time that I encourage you to join their membership club because you get the seasonal maintenance for free. You get top-of-the-line service, front-of-the-line service, membership pricing, all that sort of stuff. But Chris was at my house today for our heater checkup. Every single year, River City's 1 Hour, they call me to schedule, and it's complimentary maintenance when you're part of the membership club. So Chris was at my house today. I got a text, an email, a call alerting me Chris was on the way. He was friendly. He was awesome. Got everything done. He noted our units are fine, but he noticed something else that was going wrong with our gas pressure. He said, you got to call your gas company because of this. They're so thorough. They're awesome. It's River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Join MMR and ignite your career today. MMR is the largest electrical and instrumentation contractor in the nation, and they're seeking talented individuals to join their team. For over 3 decades, they've been headquartered right here in Baton Rouge, and they have offices all around the globe.
And MMR offers a tailored path for both professional and personal development, outstanding benefits, and a dynamic culture. So whether you're an intern, a seasoned pro, or you're just starting out, see what MMR can offer you. Apply at mmrgrp.com.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends April 30th, 2024.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Thanks again to Cade Beloso for joining us here on the show today. LSU baseball, 2 weeks from first pitch. If you're just jumping aboard, wondering where Terrio is, his daughters are in the high school soccer playoffs. Game got moved with all the weather and everything like that, so that's why he's not here today. But we'll look forward to having Terrio back next week. We'll continue our LSU baseball position previews. We'll just take care of like infield and outfield next week when Terrio's back, so we'll look forward to that. So the Saints apparently have found their coordinator. Klint Kubiak, Adam Schefter had the report. Looks like that's the direction they're going. Can't be official until after the Super Bowl. And so they check that box. And the other part, though, of the offseason that continues is obviously how the Saints are going to get within cap compliance. They'll have to do their cap gymnastics as they do every year. There's some $80 million over the cap, so a lot of work to do. And we've already talked about Derek Carr as one of the players that's very likely going to get a contract restructure, as Luke Johnson reported. And I hate that. You know how I feel about it, but it's what it is. One of the other players that is going to be a really fascinating watch this year is Michael Thomas. And everyone is speculating about what's going to happen there. And I know, ESPN had a feature on every team and what they have to do in this offseason. And one of the big questions is whether they're going to re-sign Michael Thomas. He's not technically a free agent because he's signed through 2024, but this offseason basically treats him as a free agent. So if he's on the roster the first day of the league year, then new guarantees will trigger. So they could likely designate him as a post-June 1 cut before that happens. So they could bring him back, but if they designate him as a post-June 1 cut, that means he'll be gone, and then it'll wipe that salary, and they'll save money this year. His cap hit, his dead cap hit, would essentially be cut in half, from about $18 million to $9 million. But then that would get spread out over 2 years. So it'd be like $9 million this year, $9 million next year. Essentially, the Saints have to decide, do you want Michael Thomas back in New Orleans? And we talked about it earlier this week, and Kat Terrell was here with us, and her feeling was like it feels like the writing is on the wall that he won't be back. And by the way, I agree with her. If you're Michael Thomas and you're out teeing off on your franchise, the quarterback, the organization, all on social media, it very much feels like you have one foot out the door already. So, if that's the case, then, I mean, okay, that's what it is. But I know there's this feeling among Saints fans, and part of me understands it, where you keep longing for Michael Thomas to revert to form, to have the type of season he had, maybe not in 2018 or 2019 when he had a record-setting season, but to the guy that could be a 100-catch guy, a 1,000-yard receiver, the guy who was on a Hall of Fame trajectory, a guy that won the NFL's Offensive Player of the Year award. But when I really look into Michael Thomas, though, at some point you have to ask the question, is the effort worth the payoff? And, I think, as I said, we've sort of married ourselves to this idea of what Michael Thomas was instead of accepting what Michael Thomas is. And think about that in the context of the conversation we've had with the Saints. The thing that I've said about this Saints organization is they are existing through the rear view instead of the windshield. They keep thinking about what was and what made them so great for a decade and a half and trying to get back to that instead of looking forward at what could be. And that's true with everything they've done, from promoting Dennis Allen and maintaining Pete Carmichael these past 2 seasons, and Mickey Loomis essentially having no accountability whatsoever and continuing to restructure deals and, as everyone says, kick the can down the road. It's all about how do we win now? And I understood that approach when you had Drew Brees and you were trying to get a championship before your Hall of Fame quarterback retired. But you didn't scale the mountain. Now you got a mountain of debt, and instead of living lean and paying off your debt, you keep applying for more credit cards. That's what the Saints keep doing. And Michael Thomas is the personification of that mentality. What was instead of what is and what will be. Do you realize that we have known Michael Thomas as an injury-prone locker room cancer for as long as we knew him as a dominant receiver? Do you realize this? He came into the league in 2016. For 4 years, Michael Thomas was among the best wide receivers in the NFL. For 4 years. 16, 17, 18, and 19, Michael Thomas was as good a receiver as there was in the National Football League. And in 2019 was the NFL's Offensive Player of the Year with 149 catches and 1,700 yards. But look at what has happened since then. You had 4 years of Michael Thomas as a dominant receiver, 16, 17, 18, 19. He played in 7 games in 2020, didn't play at all in 2021, 3 games in 22, 10 games in 23. You had 4 years of dominant Michael Thomas and 4 years of non-existent, injury-prone, cancer, locker room cancer, diva, all that stuff. And it's been 5 years now since you saw the dominant Michael Thomas. So what are you waiting on? To get a 30-year-old receiver healthy enough to be what? What version of himself will he be if he does stay healthy? Listen, I loved watching Michael Thomas the same way all of you did those first 4 years of his career. And I respect tremendously, seriously, I respect tremendously the fact that that dude had the type of injury he did in 2020 in the opener against Tampa. And instead of shutting it down, kept busting his behind to get back on the field, playing hurt. And everything that happened that offseason that cost him the entire 2021 season was massively disappointing, and we know it, and everything has lingered since. And I think Michael Thomas will be a Saints Hall of Famer one day and should be. But we have got to accept the fact that there are so many better options for this team than Michael Thomas, than 30, almost 31-year-old Michael Thomas, who hasn't played a full season in 5 years, who's disruptive in the locker room, who's bombastic on social media, taking shots at the quarterback, the ownership, the organization, the OC, everything. What kind of culture is that building? If you let him continue to get, this guy who hasn't been effective in 4 years, you let him continue to get away with it. It's time. And so when you see these mock drafts that come out and you see, guys, receivers mocked to the Saints at 14, it makes sense. We talked about one of them last week where Brian Thomas was mocked to the Saints at 14. Wouldn't you love to see a big 6'4", 210-pound athletic dude that can make catches over the middle and burn you deep? Who would you rather complimenting Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed next year? Brian Thomas or Michael Thomas? I know my answer, and it's easy. Give me the freak show on the rookie deal that's always put his head down and worked hard instead of the expensive veteran who can't stay healthy and is running his mouth. I am grateful for Michael Thomas for what he did the first 4 years. It was so much fun to watch. But again, are we trying to get back to what the Saints were, or are we trying to get to what the Saints will or can be? What they were was a healthy Michael Thomas. I don't see this team, this organization, this franchise getting where they want to go with Michael Thomas again. At least not with him being he could be on the roster, but he's not going to be a significant part of it. So it's a tough decision to make because you know what he was. And this organization is so nostalgic. Because you spent 50 years as an awful franchise, and then you had this beautiful era, you put it on a pedestal and you keep trying to wrap yourself in it. Instead of, let's go build a new beautiful era. And I think it's going to be one without Michael Thomas, but that's going to be one of the huge free agent decisions, maybe the free agent decision they have to make this offseason. Michael Thomas and Jameis Winston. What happens with those two guys? That's really where the list starts and stops for this team this offseason. Okay, it's after further review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online, southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Hey, get on by and test drive this weekend. It's supposed to be really rainy, bad weather. You know, when it rains, I never feel nervous driving, man. I know I'm in one of the safest vehicles on the road. When I strap Drew into his car seat every single day to take him to school, I know I'm driving one of the safest vehicles on the road. So much peace of mind driving a Volkswagen. I experienced that firsthand, what was it, 2 years ago. I was on the Mississippi River Bridge, traffic, shocker. I was at a dead stop, big full-size pickup truck, didn't even stop, walloped me on the back. His truck was totaled. My Volkswagen wasn't. One of the safest vehicles on the road. The great German engineering, all the safety features, the style, the feel, the performance of luxury without the cost, and manufactured right here in the US of A at their Tennessee plant. It's South Point Volkswagen. SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? Okay, y'all, it's after further review. We'll knock out our final break of the show. We'll come back. We'll do a little what we learned. We'll do a little Ask Us. So if you got a question for me, Muse, Pauly, fire away. And also, we do have an Otter lock. So Otter did send us a pick for today. A little Friday special, as he put in our text. Throw me something mista is how we phonetically spelled it on our text. So we'll get you an Otter lock here as well. Stay with us. We'll wrap up next on AFR.
AFR.
Glow Resources, they are complete employer solution. If you are a business owner, you need Glow Resources. If you have struggled to hire, you need Glow Resources. If you've hired, but you've hired people that don't stick, employees that aren't effective or efficient, and you have massive turnover, you need Glow Resources. GLO, glowresources.com. Look, if you're in Baton Rouge, start by going to see them at their office on Perkins Road. Perkins and Quail Oak, right near Pennington. First of all, it's just really, I'm dead serious. It's worth going to meet them over there just to see the office. It's that stinking cool. I mean, it's like, it's art. The building is art, what they've done, the gut renovation with an interior designer coming in. They've done street art on the floor. It's phenomenal. Anyway, that's a really cool part of it. But they have a 93% retention rate when they place employees in your jobs. So it's going to be efficient and effective. It's Glow Resources. They are complete employer solutions. GLO, glowresources.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Friday edition of AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Remember, T-Bob and I will be live for a Super Bowl companion show at Don Juan Cigar Bar in Town Center for the Super Bowl. Same rules as Whiskey and Wine. It just will be on live during the Super Bowl. So if you don't want to listen to, it's Nance and Romo, isn't it? CBS, Super Bowl CBS, yeah.
I believe so. Yes.
It's Nance and Romo. So if you don't want to listen to Nance and Romo, turn their sound down. Hang out with me and T-Bob, or just come out to Don Juan. That'll be fun. Don Juan Cigar Bar in Town Center. All right, Otter has an Otter lock for today. Look, Friday special. How about our guy there? The text to me in Muse reads, Otter locks, Lanyap, Friday, fun day, money line parlay.
Little rhyme there. Friday, fun day, money line parlay.
Show me something, Mista.
Yeah.
Here you go. You ready?
I'm ready.
Money line parlay tonight. 4 teams. Dayton, Iowa, Creighton, Nevada. Do you say Nevada or Nevada?
I honestly go back and forth.
I've always said Nevada.
Yeah.
But people from there say Nevada.
I was about to say, I think they say Nevada.
They say Nevada. It's like when I say Louisville. I always used to say Louisville. But people from there say Louisville.
Yeah, that one's easier for me. Louisville's a lot easier for me than Nevada and Nevada. Sometimes Nevada just kind of blurts out.
And I think of it like if I heard someone say New Orleans.
Oh, God, stop.
But it's like, hey, that ain't how we say it.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I get it. It's what parish is New Orleans in?
I mean, Orleans, yeah.
It's in Orleans Parish.
Yeah.
But that ain't what we say. It's New Orleans. So Anyway, Nevada. So there you go. There's your 4-team money line parlay for tonight. Dayton, Iowa, Creighton, Nevada. I'm going to do a better job, Muse. That'll be my New Year's resolution, is to say Nevada.
A little late for that, Matt. It's February 2nd.
It's never too late to turn over a new leaf.
If it is, because then it's not. Okay, you turn over a new leaf, yes, but it's not a New Year's resolution in February. You can't do that.
Sure it is.
You can't do that.
Happy New Year. Just wished you a Happy New Year.
It's really way too late.
We got 11/12ths of the year to go.
Yeah.
Still new.
That's true.
And by the way,
That
I don't
do.
think I've said the word Nevada so far this year. I've said
far?
Las Vegas, but I don't think I've said the word Nevada yet. So I think it counts. It's my New Year's resolution.
Vegas is the most important part of Nevada anyway. So it goes back and forth, man.
Clayton Knight said, Matt, what's the latest on Ocho Cinco, or did I miss it? Okay, so here's the deal. Ocho replied to me immediately when I said, hey, we doing this? He's like, yep, I'm in. DM'd him. He's like, look, shooting inside the NFL, fly in maybe Wednesday, do the show Thursday or Friday. Well, as you know, yesterday was Thursday, today's Friday, no Ocho. I have messaged him a couple of times since, no reply. Now, I believe he gets the benefit of the doubt here because he immediately replied and he was on board.
Yeah.
I just think the guy is really busy.
And he's been on board since the start, to be fair. Too.
Yes. And my assumption, honestly, was we were going to do this after the season, like after the Super Bowl. So that was always my thought. I'm not backing off of it, but I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. When we make it happen, we'll let you know. Amuse Paulie, I appreciate you. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday at 3.
AFR.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Elevate brand visibility, ignite customer engagement with the power of radio and digital advertising combined. Guarantee Digital Media brings the two together as a trusted media partner in Louisiana for nearly a century. Claim your free digital audit at guaranteemedia.com.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends April 30th, 2024.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-20.